up to for millions of borrowers.
Justices say the Secretary of Education cannot implement a mass debt cancellation program without congressional approval. The administration had relied on the HEROES Act, a post-9/11 law allowing the Education Department to grant waivers to the federal financial aid program. Both the Trump and Biden administrations used it to pause required payments during the pandemic. But Chief Justice John Roberts, writing for a 6-3 majority, says waiving or modifying.
Oh, yep. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. You might have heard.
How many times are you going to say hi?
Well, I didn't know if my mic was on.
Enough.
We're going to leave.
We're going to say enough.
Yeah, I'm
Hey.
going to say it long enough that all those.
Hey, let's
14
dive
people
right in,
leave.
though, Ryan.
Yeah.
Huge show today. SCOTUS had some pretty big rulings, and we're going to have Andrew Bailey, who's a Missouri Attorney General, on at 12:25. If you don't know, the student loan debt case was, they had a ruling on that, and
Talk about it.
Missouri was one of the states that had filed lawsuit in there. So Andrew Bailey's going to come in and talk to us about that case, and then also the case of the Colorado web designer freedom of speech case. He filed an amicus brief on that, so he's going to talk to us a little bit about that as well. Ask us anything at 1:25. So get your questions. Hannah wants a lot of questions.
Right. Start now.
So go. Yeah, just put them in there. #AMA.
Yep.
Wiggins America.
Wiggins America is going to be several stories. I'm going to bring you the headline and at least one paragraph or sentence from the story. You got to tell me whether it's a real story or it is from the Babylon Bee.
That sounds like fun. All right, and then at 2 o'clock, we're going to do Xs and Ohs. We're going to have Drew and Patty. Drew and Patty are both sales managers here, and whenever I invited them to come on, tensions were high. They were talking trash to one another right away, which I really appreciate, and so I need that energy. I told them to hold on to that energy and bring it here, and keep it radio friendly.
Yep. We want them to
And then
bring the hate.
bring the hate, just the competitive nature.
Bring hate. Annie Fry Show.
Bring the hate.
Man, that's been suggested before by people who listen.
Really?
Every day.
Huh. Well, the 2 o'clock hour.
Yeah, and then our YouTube live chat poll is grade the Supreme Court. We want you to give the Supreme Court a grade based on their recent rulings. Do they get an A, a B, or C, which is one choice in and of itself, then a D, or an F? So it's an A, B, or C, D, or F. So vote in the live chat, vote in the poll, then tell us in the chat what you voted. And if I said this yesterday, if you're on a different platform, make sure that you jump over to the YouTube platform to vote and drop a comment. Then you can go back to your preferred platform.
I think at about 1:45, it's not on the show sheet, but we will react to Ryan Wiggins' outfit today.
It's just going to be a 1:45 thing every
I
day.
have some thoughts on that.
I already commented on that outfit.
You should probably bring thoughts from yesterday as well, since you weren't here, Hannah.
Does she know what happened?
I don't know.
No.
I know she knows
Oh,
that a lot
she
happened, but I don't
doesn't
know if she
know.
knows what it was.
She doesn't know.
Sherry, save it for 1:45.
Sherry.
That's
Hey.
That's one of my Ask Me Anything.
Is that
Right now,
what it
yeah.
is? Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Ask me anything about this.
All right,
Okay.
let's get to the show.
All right.
The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code OIL to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code OIL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code OIL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
If you like to work with a local company that gives back to the community, Window World is the preferred window of your St. Louis Blues. Mark Cox here for my friends out at Window World. What a great product. A lifetime warranty. It covers all the parts, the glass breakage, the labor. You've heard me say that before. And they've been around for over 20 years. They have improved the look and the efficiency of over 70,000 homes in the greater St. Louis area. They have the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. That's hard to get, right? And that's important. They're ranked number one in the number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. Call them for a free estimate. Let them show you why they say simply the best for less. New doors, new windows. With Window World, they're now offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800. Or you can go online anytime to windowworld.com.
Response to Diamonds Direct's amazing finance offer has been off the charts, so we're extending it through this Saturday. You can go into the holiday weekend with some new bling and spread your payments over as long as 5 years with special financing, or save up to $5,000 on the spot. It's our best finance offer ever and our most aggressive pricing. Fine jewelry has never been more affordable, but this amazing offer ends this Saturday and will not be extended. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Details and more at diamondsdirect.com on approved credit.
If you need solid hires fast, you need Indeed. The all-in-one hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates from the same place. Want to find your next great hire? Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Looks like this is written by the Chief Justice, and it looks like another 6-3. Yes, Chief Justice Roberts, Thomas Alito, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Barrett join him. Justice Barrett files a concurring opinion. Justice Kagan files the dissenting opinion. Sotomayor and Jackson write. Okay, this is the conclusion of what the court says. It's become a disturbing feature of some recent opinions to criticize the decisions for which they disagree as going beyond the proper role of the judiciary, because a lot of people didn't think they should take this case. Today we have concluded that Missouri is a proper case to this. They've gone through the traditional tools of decision-making analysis. Reasonable minds can disagree. And they say it's important that the public not be misled by some of what they're hearing about the court, which is interesting because there's been so much said about the court. It says the HEROES Act provides no authorization for the Secretary. Remember, this Secretary of Education's plan, even when examined using the ordinary tools of statutory interpretation, let alone clear congressional authority for such a program. So first blush of this reading sounds like the student loan debt forgiveness plan is gone. It is not going to move forward in a 6-3 ruling.
So Shannon Bream, in a lot of words there, saying that immediate reaction. It's always crazy to watch Shannon Bream get these decisions when they hit, and then she basically combs through them on the air. So I think that's what she was probably doing there. But that whole handout that President Biden was told over and over and over again that he was going to be able to do on his own. And then he said, yeah, let's go. Do you remember when Chuck Schumer was like $10,000 is not enough, $20,000 is enough, we need $50,000. And AOC and the squad were out there saying, forgive the whole thing, give these people the start that they deserve in this country. The Supreme Court has ruled that the Biden administration can't go forward with its student loan debt handout program. I will not forget in my broadcasting career the day that this was made an announcement, that the Biden administration came out and said that this is what they were going to do, how mad you were. I will never forget how pissed off Americans were when President Biden took the opportunity as the chief executive to give a massive taxpayer-funded handout to a portion of Americans and, like I said, doing it on the backs of hardworking folks out there, many of which who never went and pursued a college degree, didn't take out the debt, went into a trade school, made money doing it with their hands and with labor and building off of it. We're not going to benefit from what President Biden did. Do you remember the timing of the student loan handout announcement? Perfectly placed right before the midterm elections. Fox News reports in a 6-3 decision that the court held that the federal law does not allow the Secretary of Education to cancel more than $430 billion in student loan debt. President Biden strongly disagreed, of course, with the court's decision. He's going to make an announcement today, so we will keep our eyes and ears on what the president has to say. That'll be a treat. According to Chief Justice John Roberts, for the majority, he wrote the secretary's plan canceled roughly $430 billion of federal student loan balances, completely erasing the debts of 20 million borrowers and lowering the median amount owed by the other 23 million from $29,400 to $13,600. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote this in the majority position, saying 6 states sued, arguing that the HEROES Act does not authorize the loan cancellation plan, and we agree. Of those 6 states, you might recognize one of them, Brad, Missouri being one of them.
Yes, Missouri is one of those states.
So at 12:25, we thought Andrew Bailey, the Attorney General for the state of Missouri, who was a participant in this, suing this and making this possible, he's going to join us on the show. I'm very excited to get the lowdown from the Attorney General on why they pursued this, why they wanted to do this on behalf of the taxpayer, and what is expected to happen next. This is a huge addition to what we have seen the Supreme Court unrolling on a daily basis now as they try to get all of these decisions out here at the end of June. There have been a lot of rulings that if you're on one side of the political aisle or the political mindset, you're going to feel a little more victorious than those who are on the other side. Nobody here is batting 1,000, but this is where I want your input on the YouTube live chat poll for today. I want you to grade the Supreme Court, and I really would love to know why you gave the Supreme Court the grade that you did. Every time we do one of these grading polls, it's an A, it's a B/C, a D, or an F. Which one do you feel that the Supreme Court deserves? I've talked about this previously in my initial vote for Donald Trump in the 2016 election. Of all of the people who were running in that primary, Donald Trump was, if there were 17 candidates, he was choice number 17 for me. I didn't know if I could trust him. I didn't know how conservative he'd be. But when it came down to it, and it was, do I put my vote behind Donald Trump or do I put my vote behind Hillary Clinton? The weighing factor, the deciding factor in the entire process of casting that vote was the Supreme Court. If you're Donald Trump right now and you're campaigning for the third time to be the president for the United States and you are watching the results roll in on this Supreme Court and their rulings, you have got to consider this one of the best victories of your administration, that you have these Supreme Court justices on here returning 6-3 rulings, an occasional 5-4 in favor of the Constitution, not in favor of the Republican Party. It's in favor of the Constitution. It is consistently reaction that we are seeing from this Supreme Court, where they're basically saying, listen, we can't presuppose the hatred that exists in this country and say it's got to be applied, the racist attitude of this country. So we are going to put our finger on the balances when it comes to admissions in colleges and campuses. This is what Ketanji Brown Jackson said. She said, you can't put into law a colorblind attitude and expect the real world to follow suit. When she's saying that the law should be colorblind, and if the law is colorblind, then the world should be colorblind too, that's not a realistic expectation. So if Ketanji Brown Jackson is saying that the world isn't colorblind, so the law shouldn't be either, that is in direct conflict with the 14th Amendment. And that's a problem. We need to have a standard. We need to have a set expectation somewhere. that shows that we are having a pursuit to be better all the time, to be fair, to be equitable, where everybody in this country is provided the opportunity to succeed, and that there are no barriers that are put in front of people to stop them from being able to succeed. But we can't hold certain people down and elevate others because you can't pick and choose. That's not what the law is there for. I heard some ladies on The View talking about how what's next? Are they going to keep women from going into college? Nope, nothing in this ruling suggests that you have to be a white man to get into college. That's just the world that they live in. And for Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson to say, well, the world's not colorblind, so the law shouldn't be either. That's like saying, hey, no matter what we do with the law, the world's still going to be racist, so we should take that into account in our laws, is saying, racist behavior is going to happen no matter what. Crime is going to happen no matter what. We have to, it's very similar to what they say about abortion when you say, if we're going to protect the lives of the unborn, women are going to be having abortions anyway in back alleys with coat hangers. That's the repetitive argument for we should have safe, legal, and rare abortions. And that's what's going to need to be put into place so that we can protect those lives. And I'm still saying that if it's in a back alley or if it's in an abortion clinic, it still ends the same for the baby. Deciding to make abortion incredibly accessible for anybody who wants to have it without any checks and balances, and honestly, without even a requirement to provide those women the truth of what's actually existing in their body. Because if we don't make it legal and super accessible, they're going to go do it in a back alley. That is a really, really, really bad reason to legalize that type of a practice. We're going to be waiting to hear from President Biden, to hear what he has to say about this particular case, the student loan case. There's also an instance where a web designer said, nope, I don't want to make I guess it was a wedding website for a same-sex couple. That ruling came down in favor of the designer. We're going to talk to Andrew Bailey about that as well. But this is where this is going. We are headed towards an election cycle year where the left says they need the victories in November of 2024 because they need to change the dynamic of the court. They're going to need to impact the number of justices on the court. They're going to pack the court. They're going to try to eliminate the majority of conservatives that are on there, because we heard it yesterday. A reporter asked Joe Biden when he was staggering off from the podium, is this a rogue court? And he turned around and he said, it's not a normal court. So let's remember what Joe Biden has said in the past about packing the court. Let's remember his attitude towards adjusting the balance of the court for political opinion. Here, I'll play you this one on FDR.
President Roosevelt clearly had the right to send to the United States Senate and the United States Congress a proposal to pack the court. It was totally within his right to do that. He violated no law. He was legalistically absolutely correct, but it was a bonehead idea. It was a terrible, terrible mistake to make, and it put in question for an entire decade the independence of the most significant body, including the Congress, in my view, the most significant body in this country, the Supreme Court of the United States of America.
That was a younger, more with it Joe Biden when he was in the Senate. It was a boneheaded idea. It was then. It will be different now. This is the direction that this is headed. It will have a huge impact on this country if they are able to get it through. I doubt that they will, but it will be the campaign issue of the November 2024 election. We've got Andrew Bailey coming up. Wiggins America. Ryan, you've got a fun little segment for us coming up at 12:45.
I would say it's a little bit of an exercise in real versus fake news.
Do I have to get out of my chair?
No.
Okay.
You can stay right in your chair. You can stay in your car.
Senior citizen exercises.
It's one of those, yeah, you just kind of move your arms around a little bit.
Yeah, I probably should do that. My watch is always telling me, you should really move. Isn't that rude?
Does it count arm movements, or do you have to step?
I don't know. It usually does it in the middle of the show. So I talk with my hands a lot, so I don't think our movements count. I think it counts like movement in space.
Okay. Gotcha.
All right. Yeah, it's going to be fun. We're going to be picking and choosing. Is it a Babylon Bee story or not? Ryan's picked the stories, and we're going to do our best to make our best guesses. Into 2 o'clock hour, we've got Xs and Ohs with Drew and Patty coming back in the studio with us. They are leaders in our sales department here at 97.1, and Xs and Ohs with them on a weekly recap hosted by Ryan Wiggins. And at 1:25, Hannah, you need a little something from the audience out there?
Yes. For all of you out there who have any questions for the Annie Frey Show crew, please comment them and we will feature them at 1:25. You can head to the Annie Frey Show live stream on any platform and comment your questions and we'll answer them.
Yep, on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Grade the Supreme Court. Leave a question for us for Ask Me Anything at 1:25, and we'll be back with the Attorney General for the state of Missouri, Andrew Bailey, when we return.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Half my life's in books, written pages.
STS-armory.com. Have you visited them yet? Make sure you tell them Annie said hi when you go in. Say you're a listener to the station and that I sent you. You'll be glad you did. I really appreciate the way that they will navigate however educated you are on firearms. If you're looking for something very specific, I have a family member who, when they go into STS, they know exactly what they want, and STS is able to get it for them if it is, in fact, gettable. If you were looking for ammunition, if you were looking for education, for classes to renew your conceal and carry or to achieve your conceal and carry, if you have no idea what you're doing when it comes to owning and operating firearms, but you need a safe and responsible place to start, you walk into STS Armory, say, Annie sent me, I think I need a FOID card or something. They will start walking you through that process, and they'll take care of you the entire way. They have classes for beginners so that you can be comfortable with a firearm. They have classes to help show you firearm safety in your household, if you're carrying, if you're off-body carrying, all of it. STS Armory is there to navigate that whole process for you, make you feel comfortable, and to be a responsible Second Amendment supporter. They are located in Pontoon Beach at the corner of Highway 111 and South Drive. You can find them online at sts-armory.com.
When I met little Ruthie in 2010, she was just 5 years old. She wasn't eating much, she had no school to go to, and she didn't know who Jesus was. In December of 2023, Ruthie will be joining 12 others in the first graduating class of Bethlehem Christian Academy in Zambia, Africa. Hi, my name is Martin Winslow, founder and president of BCA. When you support a child like Ruthie through BCA, you get to join us in being the hands and feet of Jesus. Our mission is dedicated to transforming lives by feeding and educating poor and orphan children in some of the poorest places in Africa and South Asia. BCA's ministry not only provides physical bread to these kids, but also spiritual bread through the Word of God. For just $36 a month, you can help a child have a hope of a better future, but more importantly, give them the opportunity to learn about Christ. You can also join us on a mission trip. In fact, many will be joining me this upcoming December to watch Ruthie receive her diploma. To find out more about how you can help children like Ruthie, please visit bcaministries.com. That's bcaministries.com.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 54 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
97.1 FM Talk. You're here, which means you've made at least one great decision today. St. Louis's home for conservative talk. This is 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
For this president and this administration in a campaign promise and something that they were hoping was going to be critical, especially for young voters heading in to the 2024 election. But I can tell you now, checking in with sources inside the White House on their reaction, that it is one of vowing to fight back, saying that the president is not done fighting for these borrowers, that he's going to have more to say about it later today. So we can expect some formal remarks at the White House in the next couple of hours, and that he is going to be announcing some new actions, according to this source, specifically for borrowers, and will announce this in order to try to help to encourage them in any way he can to try to help protect them.
So there you have it. It is an enormous setback, according to the NBC White House correspondent Monica Alba, for this Biden administration due to this ruling on the student loan debt cancellation. Joining us now, one of the participants, Missouri's Attorney General Andrew Bailey, in bringing this case to the Supreme Court. Thank you so much, Attorney General, for being here with us today. I want to give you the opportunity to talk about why you brought this case in the first place and what it's like to win.
Well, thanks for having me on. This is a huge win for the people of the state of Missouri. And at the end of the day, it's about protecting working Missouri families from getting stuck with President Biden's Ivy League debt. He was trying to redistribute $430 billion away from working families towards people who are making up to $250,000 a year. So this is absolutely crazy. I mean, it's about the rule of law and the Constitution. The Constitution gives the Congress the power to spend money, not the president. And so he knows he needed an appropriations bill to do this. He didn't have it, and that's what the Executive Act to try to get it done, and it's unconstitutional. It violates the separation of powers doctrine. So proud to have fought to protect working Missouri families and to protect the state of Missouri and the Constitution.
You know, when I'm thinking back to when we were leading up to this announcement that he was going to engage in this act, there were a lot of people, Nancy Pelosi included, who had previously said you can't just do this. It takes an act of Congress, so on and so forth. But then there were people like Chuck Schumer in the Senate who were wanting more. And, of course, the squad in the House saying $50,000, forgive it all. How do you balance the boldness that this administration was willing to at least throw it at the wall and see what sticks versus the outcome of the Supreme Court going, nope, can't do it?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, we got to keep using these lawsuits to keep President Biden in check. We're not going to let President Biden destroy America with his unlawful action, trying to pervert the law and expand the law beyond the plain text of the statutes enacted by Congress. Look, at the end of the day, I went to college on an Army ROTC scholarship, went to law school on the post 9/11 GI Bill. I paid for my school in blood, sweat, and tears in service to my nation and was proud to do it. All I'm saying here is that you take out a loan, you pay it back. That's the American way. I mean, what's so groundbreaking about that? And we're certainly not going to let him stick working Missouri families with that debt. I mean, Missouri was really crucial to this case because of the Missouri Higher Education Loan Authority. I mean, essentially what President Biden was doing was reaching into the state treasury, snatching $44 million of state money. And so I'm so proud to have led this effort to be able to put a stop to President Biden's attack on the state of Missouri.
We're speaking with the Attorney General for the state of Missouri, Andrew Bailey, who was one of the states to bring this court case to the Supreme Court to push back against the grab of your taxpayer dollars to fund the student loan debt of many, many, many Americans. Do you expect that this will push the administration off the issue, or do you think you might have to file another lawsuit here, depending on what he says he'd like to do?
I think we got to keep the offense up. We've got 28 pending lawsuits against the Biden administration right now. I anticipate we'll have more in the coming days, weeks, and months because he's not going to stop. But we're not going to let him destroy America, and we're going to use every legal recourse available to us to put a stop to it. And this is one example of how it can work. I mean, when we saw him harming Missouri, when he saw him taking $44 million of Missouri taxpayer money and trying to stick us with the debt of people who took out loans to go to school. We were willing to file suit. We were willing to fight it all the way up to the United States Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court did the right thing by keeping the president in his constitutional role and within the bounds of the laws enacted by Congress. And so proud to lead a win there. We anticipate we'll have to keep fighting, but we'll use this as yet another, case precedent to roll back the federal administrative state and to prevent unlawful actions by the Biden White House.
We're speaking with Attorney General Andrew Bailey on the rulings coming out of the Supreme Court. I think that it's very key what you're talking about, keeping the administration in check. And I would imagine someone like you is much more adept to do this than I am. But even from afar, legally, I look at how our Constitution, our democracy, our democratic republic is set up, and the checks and the balances and the layers of government that are all in play to make sure that nobody gets to do too much with the people's money and the power that the people are to hold dear to their heart and to themselves and to reign supreme. I'm looking at your position. The Attorney General in the state of Missouri had a huge impact on something that was happening on a federal level. Going into November of 2024, there are a lot of elections that are going to take place that are going to put maybe new people in the House, new people in the Senate, statewide elections in the state of Missouri. How much do not just the president, all of these elections matter to making sure that we get to protect our freedoms here in this country?
Well, they're absolutely critical. I mean, people need to pay attention to what's going on. And I'm sure your listeners are well keyed in on it because they understand the value of freedom. I mean, the Constitution was given to us by our founding fathers to maximize our freedoms and our liberties. The whole point of the Constitution is to protect us from government. And the founding fathers understood that separating powers amongst three branches of government was critical to prevent one person from taking too much power. And that's what President Biden tried to do in the student loan repayment case. He took the power of Congress, the power of the purse, the power of making expenditures, and tried to redistribute $430 billion without congressional authority. And there's a doctrine called the major questions doctrine that the Supreme Court has been hammering in the past few sessions. And it basically stands to the proposition that you can't hide an elephant in a mouse hole. If Congress wants to do something as big as redistribute $430 billion, they have to be explicit about it. President Biden tried to pervert the plain text of the statute and say, well, over here, it lets me do modifications and waivers, so I'm going to cancel that. Well, cancel is not the same as modify and waive. And it certainly doesn't authorize him to do something as big as $430 billion. So that's, by enforcing the rule of law, by keeping him within the statutory bounds, and by keeping that separation of powers, we're maximizing our freedom and protecting our constitutional structure.
Here's another case that was ruled on today. I'm going to play you a quick clip here from Shannon Bream reacting to this particular
Justice
one.
Gorsuch, who has written other cases that have to deal with religious liberty issues, and this is a free speech issue. Here's what he says at the end of his decision. He says, tolerance, not coercion, is our nation's answer. The First Amendment envisions the United States as a rich and complex place where all persons are free to think and speak as they wish, not as the government demands. Because Colorado seeks to deny that promise, the judgment is reversed.
So what can you tell us about this web designer who was being coerced, to use the word there that was used by Shannon Bream, coerced into creating a website for a same-sex couple? The suggestion here by the Supreme Court, or I guess the mandate, is that you cannot be forced to say messages that you disagree with in America, at least as of Friday, June 30th, 2023.
Yeah, that's right. And look, I mean, at the end of the day, the First Amendment is really important, and we got to keep fighting to protect it. It has the right of free press, right of free speech, and religious liberty. These are all rights of conscience to think and say and hear what we believe is right, not what the government tells us we have to say, think, hear, or ways in which we can or cannot worship. And that's what's happening in some of these states and municipalities. They're using public accommodation laws, basically saying, hey, if you don't do exactly what we say, then you're discriminating. Well, that's indoctrination, and I'm so glad that the Supreme Court stood up to fight for our First Amendment right. The government can't compel speech. The government can't force you to say things you don't believe in. And again, this is about individual liberties, religious liberties, and the right to free speech. And I feel like the court, this was rightly decided, did the right thing here.
And I think when I look at that ruling and I hear you saying that the government can't compel you or coerce you into saying something that you don't believe, I look up to Michigan right now. The House there recently made it a felony to intimidate someone by using the wrong gender pronouns. This is finable up to $10,000. I don't know where it's going to go out of the Michigan House, but there is a very dramatic anti-First Amendment movement in this country right now that wants to police everything you do and say and think and punish you if you don't do the air quotes right thing. Missouri has fought against this time and time again, and I assume, Andrew Bailey, you're going to continue to do so.
Absolutely. We have the most important First Amendment case in a generation pending in U.S. District Court right now. We've uncovered a relationship of coercion and collusion between federal bureaucrats with woke big tech social media corporations to silence American voices in violation of the First Amendment, to censor conservative voices. We anticipate next week we'll get a ruling from the court. We've asked for a preliminary injunction nationwide to put a stop to it, to protect all Americans, but especially Missourians' right to say, think, and hear what they believe in. The government has no role in determining what should be or should not be said. We've got to erect a wall of separation between tech and state, and that's what our First Amendment lawsuit's designed to do. And reading the tea leaves, I mean, I'm looking at what the Supreme Court did on this First Amendment case today, and I feel very good about our legal position.
Andrew Bailey, the Attorney General for the state of Missouri. One last question before we let you go. I myself, just as a citizen, watching and waiting to hear from experts on legal issues like you and other individuals that we've interviewed here, watching to see what the Supreme Court is going to do and constantly measuring where is our freedom right now? How much are we committing, seeing from our government, committing to that idea of a First Amendment that doesn't provide you the right to not be offended? It's going to get a lot more heated as we move towards an election. And I think that people like me don't really love the idea of sitting here being powerless because we don't know the legal system. It's so above our heads. What do you encourage people to do, Andrew Bailey, right now to get involved, to be participants in protecting their freedoms that are constantly under attack by the left in this country?
Well, first of all, check us out at ago.mo.gov. You can follow us on Twitter. You can see all the work we're doing to protect Missourians' constitutional rights. I'm a big fan of the Heritage Foundation has an interactive constitution on their website where you can scroll over the provisions of the Constitution and read really well-written scholarly articles about why those provisions exist in the Constitution, how the Founding Fathers understood them. That should tell us how courts are going to interpret those provisions. And so it's a really great educational tool, but definitely check us out at ago.mo.gov to follow the work we're doing to protect Missourians and to fight for our constitutional rights.
Well, I say this whenever I speak to you, Missouri statewide officials. Thank you for having some common sense and letting me visit your state every day to work. And what you're doing, what Missouri is doing right now is benefiting the entire country, along with the other states that filed these lawsuits, protecting our freedoms, standing up for the taxpayers. As an Illinois resident, I'm grateful for you and continue to keep the fight up. It's helping.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. All the best to you and all your listeners.
Thank you so much. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey joining us, one of the 6 states that filed that lawsuit that was heard in the Supreme Court, and that student loan debt cancellation that you guys were mad about when that came down. We just decided to open the phones, and you guys let off some steam. Had to have the producers have their hand over the dump button the entire time. I think you guys were very well behaved, but very upset, and I completely understand that. Joe Biden loses today, and the Democrats and the far left progressives lose today. But don't sleep on it. There's going to be something else coming down the pike. We don't know what it is, but the president is to speak at some point today, reacting to this Supreme Court ruling, and I can imagine he's not going to be very happy about it anyway. So we'll cover that when it happens and let you know what the next plan is for the left and for Joe Biden. We're going to take a quick break now. Ryan Wiggins in studio with the rest of the crew. He is going to provide us a little game that we're going to play. He wants to know if the headlines that he provides us, are they real headlines or are they from the Babylon Bee? We're going to guess and have a little fun because it's Friday on the Annie Frey Show. It's our favorite day. Thanks for joining us. Vote in the YouTube live chat poll on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Grade the Supreme Court. You can go to the poll and vote. Leave a comment. We'll be back with Wiggins America when we return.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Frey Show.
Air Comfort Service is working hard right now to keep the hot summer air out of your home and to keep you in your comfort zone. You know what it's like to have allergies in St. Louis this time of year. That tree and grass pollen are highest during the month of June. As we move into July, it's a lot to bear. If you suffer from seasonal allergies, there's not much you can do to avoid those outdoor allergens, but you can do something about what's taking place indoors. Corey and the team at Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation have a variety of indoor air quality products that will make your home even more comfortable. So don't miss out on an opportunity to get a free estimate on a whole home air purifier that will help relieve or eliminate allergy symptoms, pet dander, bacteria, viruses, odors, and more. If this is something you suffer from, make sure that you have solace inside your home and that your comfort zone provided to you by one of these air purifiers that will take care of your whole home by Air Comfort Service is there to meet your needs. Reach out to them by making a phone call at 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. Tell them Andy sent you online at aircomfortservice.com.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AA, MCO.
St. Louis physician Dr. Abicki created Neovitin 15 years ago to help support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Since then, Neovitin has helped thousands of people support their daily nutrition with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Abicki's proprietary blend. If you're ready to join many St. Louisans in supporting their nutrition, give Neovitin a try. You can find Neovitin at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Mark Cox here for my friend and trusted realtor Gloria Liu, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, with updates for serious home sellers. Gloria Liu understands every seller situation is different. For some, a 24-hour cash offer solution is a great option to consider. Gloria's 24-hour cash offer solution is for sellers who want no risk, no open houses, no costly repairs, and who want to pick their own closing date. You'll have exclusive access to cash buyers who bid against each other in what Gloria calls her cash offer bid box. That gives you the best cash offer. These are buyers willing to pay 100% or more of market value. Call Gloria at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and the seller must agree on price and possession date.
We want everyone to enjoy their 4th of July weekend. So please use rideshare or a designated driver. A DUI will change your life. So don't drink and drive. This message from your friends at Odyssey and Onder Law Injury Lawyers.
This is Hannah. Coming up at 1:25, we are going to have an Ask Me Anything segment. So you can log into any of the platforms that we have our live stream on, like YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter, and leave us a question, and we will answer it at 1:25. Leave it with hashtag AMA so I can see it and give it to the crew. The time is 12:43. This update is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Conservative solutions, objective conclusions. For news and opinion, this is St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins!
This is what the guys go crazy for. And then it said Wiggins.
It's my milkshake. Brings the boys to the yard. Previously,
This
the
may
boys
be
had
the
not been in the yard.
Sixth time we've discussed this.
It's the same joke every time, too.
It's a joke?
Yeah, I just
I thought we were
treat it like
serious.
it's serious. Like I go, oh yeah, the boys were not in the yard before, and now they are based on my milkshake.
Are your parents mad at us?
No, they're fine. They loved it. They logged on yesterday and said you look better in the shirt than I did.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, that was right at the end. I think we were just closing it, and my mom logged in.
I've thought about your mom and dad for the last day feeling guilty.
Oh, gosh. No, not at all. They loved it. They think I'm an idiot and I deserve all of the derision possible.
No.
I don't know if that's true, but
that could be. It's plausible.
Well, we don't know because all the headlines I'm delivering right now are either real or fake. Okay. And so was that one real or fake? We really don't know. It wasn't in the Babylon Bee, so I'm going to say it's real. But some of these are from the Babylon Bee. I'm just going to read you the headline as it is, and then I pulled select quotes and paragraphs from each article that I'll give you maybe a line from, because I had to be, I couldn't just give you like one full fact. It would give it away. So I had to pull select quotes. So here's the first one. You got to determine whether or not this is a real headline or if it's Babylon Bee.
So you're going to say it. We're going to go around the room and say real or B.
Yes.
And then you'll tell us if we're right.
Microscopic Louis Vuitton style handbag sells for over $63,000. Quote, smaller than a grain of salt.
I think it's real.
Photos of the tiny spectacle of a bag show it has a large Louis Vuitton logo printed in the middle. The unidentified purchaser also received a microscope and a built-in digital display for viewing.
You said it's real?
I think that's real. Yeah.
Brad?
I think that one's real too.
I'm going B.
Guess what? It's real.
Oh my gosh. Do you have one, Hannah?
I wish I had that much money to buy a microscopic Louis Vuitton bag.
Oh,
63 grand for a microscopic Louis Vuitton style. It's not even a Louis Vuitton style handbag.
What happens when you drop that little speck?
It's gone. There's no way. You're eating it.
Grand.
It probably flavors your food a little bit.
I think I saw a B headline about that, and it's like narrow enough to fit through the eye of a needle.
Oh, maybe they took their own take on it.
Man, we're stupid people.
But yeah, you can't even really see it. A microscope was part of the package when you bought the bag.
The only way that makes any sense is if they're donating that $63,000 to like childhood cancer.
I think they're donating it to stupidity. That sentence doesn't make sense.
Is there a fund?
See, this is where I didn't want to go. I didn't want you to dig in on that sentence at all because it goes nowhere. All right, number 2, giant kites could pull cargo ships across the ocean and slash their carbon emissions.
Real.
Quote, the issue with any wind-assisted shipping, it really comes down to which way the wind is blowing, where you want to go. Quote, the fact that we want to contribute... I'm sorry, I'll just stop there. I'll stop there.
I'm saying it's real.
Real?
Hannah?
I'm going to say it's real because they are looking for any way to talk about climate change, and that I think that's real. That's so ridiculous.
These are two smart ladies, and I'm going to agree with them. I think that's real too.
It is real.
What?
That is a real headline. Giant kites could pull cargo ships across the ocean and slash their carbon
Brad
emissions.
sent me this article earlier, and he goes, I think they just reinvented sailboats.
Yes, yeah, they did.
We could put up a sail and wait for the wind to blow and get where we're going. Why haven't we thought of this earlier?
Here's the best quote. The fact that we want to contribute to reducing the environmental footprint of shipping, it's the reason why we're here. It drives our energy to the next level.
No,
not backwards.
Centuries old
next
technology. I've seen Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, that's set in the future. You probably didn't know that.
Pirates of the Caribbean?
It is now.
Not the ones that I saw.
Next story. Biden boasts how well he has handled the Ukrainian economy. Quote, let's be clear. Anyone criticizing my ability to improve a nation's economy hasn't seen the job I've done in Ukraine.
That's B.
That's Babylon B.
Yeah, that's B.
Are you
BS,
sure?
But B.
What is it?
It's B.
Oh, my goodness.
It's B. It's fake. But gosh, it sounds real, doesn't it? I mean, it sounds like a real quote. I'll read a little bit more from it. It says, when reached for comment, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky strongly endorsed Biden's economic track record. Quote, he has shown tremendous leadership for our nation's economy for years, Zelensky said. Even dating back to when he was vice president, he has had a constant presence here overseeing financial transactions. We are in his debt. And I mean that literally. which is why we keep doing him favors.
Oh, that's a good one. Man.
All right. We're burning through these. Number 4, the bank robbers who are stealing their own money.
Uh-oh.
Here's a paragraph from the story. To show they were serious, Ikram poured the gasoline over her own head and threatened to set herself alight if the employees didn't hand over the cash.
B.
Ooh.
That sounds real.
Yeah,
Where?
I'm gonna call it real.
I didn't say where.
Oh.
I just said the headline and one paragraph, which is about a person going into a bank, pouring gasoline over her own head and threatening to set herself on fire.
I don't know why the B would write that
if
story.
they don't hand over the cash.
Real. Wait, I said real. You said
B.
I said real.
This story is, in fact, real.
Weird.
It's based out of Lebanon. Lebanon's Central
Missouri?
Bank. No, not Lebanon, Missouri, or Illinois. Lebanon Central
Is
Bank.
there 11 in Missouri?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Down 44.
Of course, everything's down 44.
It's also Cuba and Mexico down that way.
Yeah, exactly. Again, Lebanon's Central Bank has plunged the country into a financial crisis that's left millions of depositors without access to their savings.
Oh, man.
So some are turning to extreme measures and becoming folk heroes in the process, going into banks and robbing them, but only taking their own money out because you can't get access to your own money. How crazy is that?
No bueno.
Yep. All right. Next one, number 5 of 6. Devout Hunter Biden clarifies he was sitting next to his heavenly father, who is always with him. I'll just read a little bit from the story here.
I'm just taking the liberty there.
I haven't said yet. Wilmington, Delaware. In a statement labeled by his critics as a poor attempt at damage control, Hunter Biden sought to clarify that when he wrote a text message to a Chinese government official saying he was, quote, sitting next to my father, he was actually referring to his heavenly father.
Oh, my.
Quote, I'm really into God and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Unquote. Hunter said from his bed when reached for comment at 2 p.m. after sleeping off a 3-day bender. Quote, those text messages, which may or may not actually be mine, include me making very solemn references to God as my father because he's like totally with me at all times or something.
Yeah. He's a missionary.
I mean, you know. So you guys are saying you think that was the Babylon Bee, huh?
Yeah, I'm saying that's Babylon Bee.
You are right. All right, last one. Here we go. Russian mercenaries steal Putin's podium in a brazen coup attempt. And I'll read you one sentence from the story. It's the last one. Despite the loss, sources within the Kremlin report that Putin remains firmly in control. So again, the headline, Russian mercenaries steal Putin's podium in brazen coup attempt.
Real?
I'm going to say Babylon Bee.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
I think it's a play on Nancy Pelosi's podium.
Oh.
I don't. B.
You're going to say Babylon Bee?
Mm-hmm.
And Hannah, you're saying real?
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying B, Brad. It is, in fact, the Babylon Bee. It has in the story a photoshopped picture of somebody who looks like they're part of the January 6th riot.
Are they wearing a Trump hat?
In the Kremlin.
And they're saying, this is MAGA country.
Yes, holding
In the
a
Kremlin.
podium. And the whole article, I'll just read a little bit of it.
Honestly, if somebody was saying this is MAGA country in the Kremlin, that would be the best bow on top of the last 8 years you could possibly come up with.
Says Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu says,
Who?
I think it might be a made-up name.
Don't get the name wrong.
Sorry, yeah. It says, quote, it was just a dumb podium. That said, I will have the guy responsible for the podium security murdered. Then I will murder whoever was supposed to be guarding the guy who was supposed to be guarding the podium. It's a wonderful system of government. At publishing time, the Biden administration had switched its support to Russia to see if the war could be dragged out a little longer. That's the Babylon Bee. That article, I was like, you know what? If I do this right, it might sound real because the picture is so ridiculous with somebody who looks like he's from the Wagner group but also MAGA, holding a podium, and they're saying, well, we took over the government. We got the podium.
You know who, you said Wagner?
Yeah.
There's not a consensus on how to say that.
No, there's not.
You know the guy who reports for Fox News? He looks like he's from Central Casting for like foreign reporters.
Is it Trey Yingst?
Mm-mm. No. He's got glasses, and he ends his sentence like this. And I'm always like, nobody talks like that.
I know
But
what
do.
you mean. I know what you mean.
I got to figure out Fox News reporter Russia. See if that comes up with something. He says Wagner.
Okay.
And I'm like, he's there. That
Yeah.
must be what it is. And then you go and you watch a bunch of other coverage, and they say Wagner.
Yeah. Oh, Annie, you know what's funny? I don't know if you ever heard this because it was probably 2 years ago, some random day that you happened to not be here that I was filling in for you, that we had a Fox News correspondent on. I think this was even before you were on the show, Brad, and Hannah too. That so I can make anything up I want, and none of you can check it.
What's the story?
That a Fox News correspondent, I was asking him questions about whatever's going on in the news, and at the end of it, he would say, Ryan, like he was tossing back to me. And I kept going, oh my gosh, that's awesome. I'm going to ask you another question. Can you do that again? And he'd be like, okay, yeah. So I'd ask him a question. He'd get to the end of it and he'd go, Ryan.
Wow, I'm really glad
I felt
you got
very
to share
official.
that story with
That's
us.
a great story. At
Thank
least
you.
you didn't say Kyle.
Do we want to tell that story?
Oh, man. It's a good one. Yeah, tell it real quick.
Okay,
You got
when
90 seconds.
Annie was on maternity leave and I was filling in.
All the good things happen when I'm not here.
Yeah, apparently. Dana Lash, we had just added her back to the lineup for the show, or for the station too, and so she was filling in for part of Annie's 3 hours, and I was filling in for part of the 3 hours.
And by filling in, we aired her show.
Yes.
I don't know that if you went up to her and be like, oh, thank you for filling in for Annie.
We were
she'd
just
be like,
airing it.
Excuse me?
Yeah, she didn't know. So we had her cut
No,
some promotional
she knew,
lines.
because she was cutting promos.
Yes, but she
For my
she
filler.
said
She was very involved
she
and
said,
dedicated.
listen to filling in for Annie Frey is Kyle Wiggins. and
We
I
have
was
the
like,
promos, right?
How did that even happen? Yeah, somewhere those still exist.
I
Because
would love
there's
to hear
there's
that.
no Kyle. I read back the copy. I'm like, there's not a Kyle in this entire copy. So she must have just been thinking about someone she knew named Kyle while she was reading it. So we took those and made them
Or
into
You look
actual
like a
promos.
Kyle.
I texted her and said, you know, it'd be great.
All very possible.
I distinctly remember a remix of that too.
Oh, that was D to the C.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he pulled that out. That's when I learned about it.
Yes.
You guys had the imaging smackdown, and D to the C pulled out the promo from Dana and
Yeah.
threw it in his slam towards you. And I was like, what? What is this? Why are you calling? How'd you get Dana to call him Kyle? And they're like, that actually happened. That's
Yeah.
real. All right, stick around. When we come back, I'm going to have some of the coverage from our border trip from Othel Brand, the president of the Water District. We're going to play that video for you, so make sure you get onto the Annie Frey YouTube channel as well. Back in a minute. Don't go away.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from my friends at Zero Res, and I think some people think that vacuuming is sufficient to maintain the cleanliness and lifespan of your carpet. It's not. That's a dirty little secret. Maybe not so much a secret. Don't leave the deep cleaning to yourself. I've done it before with a do-it-yourself dirt-attracting, carpet-soaking machine that you get at a big box store. With DIY machines, there's no way to extract all the dirty water out of the carpet, leaving your floors worse than they were before. I know this firsthand because Zero Res comes over and they say, hey, what did you do to this part of the carpet? I haven't done that in years because I learned the correct way. Zero Res does it the right way. And this month, maybe you've waited, you get 20% off all services. The deal won't last long. You can use this on the ductwork and the carpeting. You owe it to yourself, your health, and your home. Contact Zero Res. Use my name. Mention 97.1 FM Talk. 314-474-2020. Ask for the Mark Reardon special. Don't do it yourself. Do it the right way with the help of Zero Res and 20% off. 474-2020. Online, ZeroResSTL.com.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Response to Diamonds Direct's amazing finance offer has been off the charts, so we're extending it through this Saturday. You can go into the holiday weekend with some new bling and spread your payments over as long as 5 years with special financing, or save up to $5,000 on the spot. It's our best finance offer ever and our most aggressive pricing. Fine jewelry has never been more affordable, but this amazing offer ends this Saturday and will not be extended. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. Details and more at diamondsdirect.com on approved credit.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
President Biden says the fight's not over. And Lisa Brady, Fox News. He's vowing to find other ways to offer relief now that the U.S. Supreme Court has struck down his plan to cancel billions of dollars in student debt. The ruling rejects the administration's argument that the U.S. Education Secretary could implement debt relief under the HEROES Act, which has been used to pause loan payments during the pandemic.
The court, by a majority, found that that was not power the secretary had. The dissent argues otherwise, but they came down on the fact that, yes, he can make tweaks here and there. He can't just out of whole cloth do something altogether that the court seems to suggest would be better left to Congress. So those loans, the $400+ billion of them, are not going to happen, that forgiveness.
Fox's Shannon Bream at the Supreme Court. The president says he'll outline next steps today.
They're going to have to be very careful about that because the court has said clearly here what you try to do through the executive branch was not done in the right way. And if he's going to look to the legislative branch, remember it was just a few weeks ago that both the House and Senate voted down this forgiveness plan that he came up with.
Both Democrats and Republicans are working on other student debt proposals. The president's urging Congress to pass stronger protections for LGBTQ Americans after another Supreme Court ruling today.
A 6-3 majority of justices sided with a Colorado graphic designer who objected to Colorado's anti-discrimination law requiring her to build websites for same-sex weddings. The president says the decision could invite more discrimination. He says Congress must pass the Equality Act. The legislation has failed to win enough support with opponents worried about undermining religious freedom.
Fox's Jared Halpern in Washington. More than 2 weeks of triple-digit heat, not over yet for parts of the South, including Texas, where it's killed at least 13 people.
I've always been taking it seriously because I experienced heat stroke once, and I realized staying hydrated is really important.
6 states could see record highs today, but gradual improvement is expected this weekend. America is listening to Fox News.
At SimpliSafe, we've designed award-winning home security with advanced sensors, HD cameras, and now this 24/7 LifeGuard protection, only from SimpliSafe. Now, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplisafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Simply hot times this afternoon. 100 for the high. The heat index 105 to 110. Might be a spot thunderstorm. This evening, partly cloudy in the 90s. Some scattered thunderstorms after midnight, 72. Saturday, a changeable sky. Little batch of thunderstorms really early in the morning Saturday. A much better chance Saturday afternoon, and 93. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Tuesday night, we've got the music. Tune in to 97.1 on July 4th from 8 to 11 for the American soundtrack. Music to enhance your July 4th fireworks experience, hosted by Ryan Wiggins. A 4th of July tradition.
There are a lot of smart business people out there making smart decisions by getting Rhino Shield. The latest one, the Central Illinois Care Services, they have decided to go with Rhino Shield on the outside of their building so they won't have to worry about maintenance from now on. The list is long. Joe's Tire out in Sullivan, Stonehill Wineries in Herman, they've all got Rhino Shield on their buildings. You can have it on your business or your house. Just call 877-25-RHINO. Let Darren come out and give you a free estimate as to what it would cost to get this great product on your home. 25-year transferable warranty, 100% waterproof, 8 to 10 times thicker than paint, and as a satisfied customer, 15 years in, I can tell you it looks as good as the day they put it on. You're going to love Rhino Shield. Call them right now. Tell them you heard about it on the Mark Cox Morning Show. Again, 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together millions of things for our planet. Cut up six-pack rings and reduce your use of plastic to keep it out of waterways and oceans. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. Over the past decade, Coalition Life has served thousands of women in crisis pregnancies, helping to save the lives of the children that they carry. Help us build a better community while also reducing or completely eliminating your Missouri taxes with a 70% tax credit. A $1,000 donation today to help these women could cost you as little as $141 out of pocket. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com. Thank you.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back. Happy Friday. It's the Annie Frey Show. We're discussing off the air what we're going to do when we get to 6,000 subscribers. A little incentivization. Is that a word? Incentivization. It should be.
Yes,
I think it is. I think I like that word. We need about 230 or 240 more people to go subscribe to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, and we will be at 6,000. We have the station has like 10,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
We do more stuff than they do.
Yeah.
So we should be able to. Where are you at? What? We do.
We should just steal from them.
From a live stream standpoint, we do.
Yeah.
Because we're the only ones who stream live on that station.
We probably have access to their stream.
Let's just go.
So we could just get on it
Commandeer
and then
them.
just be like, hey, what are you doing here? Come over to all this other stream. You already like the station.
The former digital brand manager in me would want to tear that studio door down and murder you right now for saying that. No, we've got a ton of really great places for you to follow our show, of course, and also the station. And if you've ever seen any of our YouTube shorts that get put up, they're hilarious. Those are happening for all the shows, and you can get them on the 97.1 YouTube page. So you should go subscribe there as well. But make sure you subscribe to us too, guys. Come on. 6,000 subscribers. If you have suggestions, it was being bantered about that maybe the boys would shave their beards. But we're wondering if that's even big enough for 6,000.
Oh, you know what would be a big one is once we hit 6,000.
Yeah.
Somebody buys each of us a car.
It's not really how this works.
And like we don't even know what it's gonna be. You know, like I don't know what kind of cars it's gonna be. I don't know.
Okay, so that's on the table, but we might need a plan B. If you haven't yet, go subscribe, and we'll get to 6,000 sooner or later, and we'll have to come up with something incredibly fun. I kind of want to see the guys dance again.
Yeah.
With Hannah and Anna.
That was good.
So this week Brad and I visited the southern border, and it was an incredible experience to take in. We spent Tuesday morning, kind of late morning, with a man named Othel Brand, and he is the president of the Water District in Mission, Texas. Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
He has property that is on the Rio Grande, and I don't know if you want to, Brad, kind of briefly explain where we went, like how we got there, where we went, before I start playing what he had to say to us.
So how we got there was we jumped on a bus at the hotel, and the bus takes us out there, and then we start hitting these kind of like rock roads and whatnot, and we pull up to this gate that is the border wall, and the border wall opens. The wall.
And it was a Trump wall.
It was a Trump wall.
Yeah.
And the gate opens. And
was it playing Hallelujah chorus?
No.
We were going
the wrong way.
To Mexico.
But the gate opens, drive the bus through. Down at the bottom, there's like this little circle turnaround area that goes into a boat ramp. Bus parks. We get out, and we start walking toward the Rio Grande. I think it was about 200 yards or so from the border wall to the shore of the Rio Grande.
So we're standing there, and this man who is a generational resident of the Rio Grande Valley is talking about what it's like to have this property that's on the southern border, to have to protect it and everything that's behind, the other side of the wall, the northern side of the wall. It was really compelling, and I wanted to share it with you. So we're going to show you the video that I took of him standing with the Rio Grande behind him. You're going to see the river that's behind him, and this is where Brad and I were standing along with the rest of the delegation from Americans for Prosperity that got to go on this trip. The land on the other side of the river that you see is Mexico. So we were right there, and it was really something to see and hear. And so we want to give you the opportunity to listen to what he has to say here. And Hannah and Ryan, if they hear something that they want to react to, we're going to listen into.
Place long enough, you'll know something. I've lived here since I was 4. I just turned 70 last month, and so I've lived here 66 years of my life. The valley as a child and where it is now are totally two completely different things. It is almost like living in a different country in certain parts of the valley. People say that it's safe, it's unsafe. I know you all have heard both sides of that coin probably for some time. I'm going to give you a little bit of clarity on that. And I take Hidalgo County as an example because this has been one of the largest crossing points for illegals in the United States for many years up until last year, and the movement moved up to Del Rio and El Paso, mainly because we put between the Mexican government and the state of Texas, we put so much pressure on the cartel, they moved. It was just easier. They didn't have to have any conflict. I don't know where to start with you guys. I really do want to try to get through this because I want to walk you back out under the trees. We're not sitting out here in the heat forever. But I've been on this board. I serve on the Water District Board, been there 21 years this year. We are on the river. These water districts, there's 25 of us in the valley. We serve the cities with all their raw water needs. And so we are on the face of the river. All my employees, you saw the wall, you came through the wall. For those that aren't real sure about it, we are not in Mexico when you cross through the wall. We're still in the U.S. But between the river and the wall, we call this the DMZ zone or no man's land. Because in my years here, and farming with my father for about 50 years of my life, we farmed on the river, owned a lot of land on the river at the time. It was not uncommon. Take you back to the days where you're workers and you had your own little colonia on your farm, and you had your own little church, and you had your own little grocery store, and you employed 30, 40 people on the river, lived on the river, worked on the river. When I was growing up, the weekends we didn't go off to Vegas, we didn't go off anywhere. We went down to the river. And we swam and we skied and we boated and we swung off trees and we camped out and people set up trailers, cabins. It was a weekend. That was the weekend, And if you wanted to get out and get away, that's all gone. None of that exists on the river anymore. People that used to live on the farms, own their land and live on farms, they've all moved to town. People that live north of here, 150 miles, have moved off their ranches and moved into the cities. My men have been shot at multiple times here. They've been chased off multiple times. The cartel can get done with their business and go about their day. My man, this is one of our pump facilities here. My man will come up here in the middle. And of course, cities are real funny. They like water 24/7.
Brian, you said you wanted to ask a question real quick?
Yeah, so he said when he's a kid, they used to just play in the Rio Grande River.
Yes. He talked about it like it was like going to the lake.
So, and that was common. It wasn't like he was just doing that. That was what people did. You know, they would just hang out and go swim in the river.
Yeah, that's the impression I got from him.
Yeah.
We talk about the Biden administration exacerbating all these problems, but it sounds like there was a slow drift to where that was no longer a possibility. It wasn't like overnight in 2021 they stopped doing that. Did he say why he thinks it's gotten worse over whatever period of time? Like what happened?
Let's listen in.
So that means we have to come out here 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Undoubtedly, they'll show up and they've walked up on a load of illegals or drugs coming to our very convenient ramp we have for them when they need it. And the language is, when they see my man, is this is cartel border sign language.
He just sticks his hands out to his sides.
That's all they have to do.
They just put their hands out. The cartels put their hands out like that to his agents and his workers.
Get out of here. So when the language on the river is, when you come across a cartel like that, they don't want any confrontation. They don't want to beat up anybody. They don't want to shoot anybody. They don't want to kill anybody. They just want to do their business. So what that means is you get back in your car, you go to McDonald's and get a cup of coffee for 30 minutes and you come back. That's what my men have to do. I don't like it. We live in America. I don't like the intimidation. I don't like the threats. All of my men are profiled. I'm profiled. Border Patrol superintendent called me it's been about 4 or 5 years ago. And of course we have drugs and we have people crossing here every day. You can see the trails, there's a trail there. There's a couple of, anywhere where you don't see any grass, that's the trail. And they're daily. They're daily. But he called me up and said, Mr. Brown, we want you to know that we picked up a load of marijuana at your pump station this morning. I was thinking to myself, why is he calling me? I mean, that's just like an everyday event. He said, but what we wanted you to know is, I normally drive a white Suburban. Not today, but normally. I always wear a white shirt because I get dressed in the middle of the night and I don't have to do any color coordination. And he said, we just wanted you to know that the men saw a white Suburban come in the gate you came in today, and they didn't think about it. He was wearing a white shirt. And about 10 minutes later, he came back out. And the man noticed that it was sitting kind of low. So they went up and found out it was a cartel guy impersonating me.
Wow.
Everybody that works on the river is profiled. We know that. All my men. We tried to distinguish the guys when this started really getting busy and hectic. So I said, we'd have people come across, walk up to my man, and Border Patrol would be like they are right here, right now. And they just walk up to my guys and they just pick up a tool or pick up a hoe and just work beside them. Yeah. Until the Border Patrol left, and then they'd walk across. Didn't like that. I said, you know what? We're going to fix that. You're all going to have uniforms. If you saw one of my guys here right now, they'd have a blue shirt on, and it says Water Control Improvement District number 3 on it. In less than 2 weeks, they started coming across in blue shirts.
Wow.
You know, it's almost a game, but it's deadly. You know, I tell people all the time, we in the Valley know that everything that's going on this other side of the river, all the cartels, which fight daily, because this is the richest crossing area for any cartel in the United States. And so the Gulf Cartel, this is their territory, they've got infighting going on right now. And they fight in downtown Reynosa, a town of 1.5 million people. who have no police chief because they all get killed or threatened. They have to have the federales, which would be equivalent to our military, police that city. And they have to rotate their men every 6 weeks so that the cartel cannot get their teeth into them and find out where they live, where their family is, what their kids' names are, and then start threatening. It's serious. It's nothing we take lightly. We've done everything we can do. I put in street lights. When I first got here, I said, my God, we're going to have street lights, and that would keep them away. Well, it just made it easier for them to see during the night. Get to the gate. Well, we'll put up towers and cameras. So we put up towers and cameras before Border Patrol started doing it, and we gave them access to them. That just made it, it helped. We've pulled out, since I've been here, 12 bodies out of this county. When they first started pulling them out, they were having to pull them off this cliff. Ours is more of a cliff. We're on the outside curve of the river. And I said, well, guys, can't you get a boat in there and pull them out? Border Patrol told me, this is your federal government, said, Mr. Brand, for the 13 miles of this river, we have no access for our boats. Whoa, time out. My government, you guys can't put a boat in? No.
So is the river still U.S.?
The middle.
The tree line, the middle.
The middle. It's in the middle.
Clear.
The cartel knows that, and they stay on that side, even in their boats.
What's the reasoning why they can't?
Can't what?
Put boats in this 13 miles.
Well, because they had no ramp. They had no access. Me and 5 other men built this. Never built a boat ramp in my life. I will tell you, we built it twice. We learned the first time. We took it out and we did it right the second time. but we said, my board says we can't, when my guys got shot at, we finally figured out they weren't trying to hurt my guys. They were just trying to get them to move. They just wanted to move. Okay, well, so we're getting to where we understand what the rules to the game is. If you're going to be on the river. And I told my men, I said, guys, I can't protect you. I said, I'm your employer. But you're talking about a multi-million-dollar industry on the other side of the river that has more money than Border Patrol has to do what they do. So carry a gun. You want to carry a gun, you carry a gun. I thought about that for 3 days and I come back because, on a second thought, you can have a gun, but since we're a public entity, I think you ought to have some training. So we did back then. We had the concealed handgun carry law, and so I had a family living here. I had all 3 of their kids, the wife, and all my employees go through that so they could carry a gun.
Do they all carry?
Yes, I carry. I never carried. I lived here all my life. I've never carried until the last 5 years. When we come up here any hours of the day, and there'll be people just standing around. You don't ever know. It's one of those things like, the bleeding hearts will say, well, these are just people looking for a better life. Well, yes, they are. And I don't have a problem with that. I just want to come across legally. But the problem is, Border Patrol tells us that 13% of all people coming across right now have COVID. So it's just getting reintroduced and reintroduced and reintroduced to it all the time. They tell us that 2.5% of all the people coming across have criminal records. And we're not talking purse snatchers, we're talking pedophiles, murderers, rapists, hard crimes. Now, I didn't learn this till 3 years ago, that 2.5% only represents those that are coming across that have records on the U.S. side. I said, well, what about the other side? Well, with what cooperation we're able to get from not all the governments south of us, but from several of them, we estimate 2.5% to 5% of those coming across have criminal records from their countries. Okay, so let's just say a low average would be 5% of all of them put together are criminals. We have 2,000 a day. What's 5% of 2,000?
100.
Just in our district right now. It's down.
100 a day.
Is that 100 a day? You know how many patrolling officers? McAllen's the largest city in the county. We have 47 patrolling officers on every shift. And in one day, we have twice as many criminals as we have police law enforcement on the streets. Now, what I was going to allude to you earlier about was that the county of Hidalgo is 1,587 square miles. Of that, we have 22 cities in our county that represent más o menos around 300 square miles. That means we've got about 1,287 square miles that's outside the cities. Now, you know the old saying about where there is no law, there's lawlessness. That's true. When the less there is of it, the more crime you got. So all these people that have lived out of the county, that's where the biggest threat is to property and life. If you're in the city, now if you go talk to any Chamber of Commerce in the Valley or any mayor or police chief, they're all going to tell you this is a safe valley. You know where they get paid? They're all getting paid from all the tourists and all you guys coming down here. I don't appreciate that. I appreciate telling them the truth, like saying, you know, as long as you stay in the city, you're okay, but you might not want to go out in the country. You might not want to go down to the river, where you are now. And we're outside city limits. I doubt it. We're not in city limits of anybody. But anyway, to finish that story, 47 patrolling officers in the city of McAllen. I called the county chief, sheriff, and I said, what do you got? He says, I've got 47 patrolling officers to cover 1,287 square miles. In McAllen, due to our size, we have one patrol officer for almost every square mile of our city. That's pretty good. The sheriff's got one to like every 35 square miles. If you want any help, you just better be counting on yourself. Because any help you're going to get is going to be 35 minutes to an hour longer out. That's how critical it is. As far as we're concerned, that's how it is. My friends who have lived out in the country, you know, people with oil or cattle or whatever, that have all moved in town, all of them. I don't know a single one of them that haven't moved in the city. They cannot leave their wife at home and feel safe. They can't leave their wife and kids. Even when they're there, they'll come knock on the door, or they'll, you know, it used to be when I was growing up, we had illegals. They were very passive. We didn't have there was not a cartel. Cartel's not always been around. When I was a kid, we used to call them banditos, and they weren't organized. And but they would leave out. It was not uncommon to leave out food and water for passersby, and part of it was humanitarian, but also part of it was so don't break in my house. That's what that was. And now we've literally had 2 suburban loads of them come in, knock on the door, say, you've got 10 minutes to get out of your house. This is not America. I tell this guy, bring me everybody you know. Anybody that wants to know what it's like to live in this environment, I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, or Independent, I don't care. If you're an American, then come, because I want to tell you, this is not what I was raised in. This is not what I consider to be America. I do not like my man being intimidated. I do not like him being threatened. That is not the way we live.
You talked about the federal government, our federal government. What combination is it of we need better laws, we need to enforce laws that we have,
no,
or the administration picking and choosing?
There are 5 things for that I'm going to try to remember all. You have
maybe 4.
Rick Perry, one moment here. You have Air Division, Marine Division, boots on the ground, border wall, and technology. Those are the 5 things. That's what all the military, if you look at military, it's the same list. The reason we can't control it is because we don't exert the will for people to know you can come, but come legally. I like what Trump said one time when he came down here about the wall. And I've had Pence here, I've had Pelosi here, I've had Trump here. We've had at least 100 congressmen since I've been here. Just anybody that wants to come down and hear what's going on and see and I know a lot of times you guys didn't come down to listen to me. You just came down and looked at the river, then border wall in New Mexico. I know that, you know.
So that is president of the Water District in Mission, Texas, Hidalgo County, who stood there and talked to us for 25 minutes in that context and gave us that firsthand experience of what it's like to try to do business on the river. any initial thoughts that you want to get out before we go to a break? We kind of went long there.
No, it's just good to hear from somebody who's there instead of hearing people pontificate. That guy's there and hearing the actual problems, talking about the drug cartels in a way that I've never heard anybody really talk about because he sees it.
The operation of it.
Yeah.
That's horrifying.
Yeah.
That video scares me, and I can't believe that's in America.
Mm-hmm. Every day.
Did you guys catch the part where he talked about the cartel coming to that person's home and telling them you've got 5 minutes or whatever?
In America.
In America. In the United States, you've got 5 minutes to get out. Pack your stuff and leave.
I don't think I realized that. No, I didn't realize he was talking about that was in the U.S.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we experienced, and I was happy to be able to share that with you. I'm going to put that whole video up on YouTube, and there's more to it. And somebody was talking about, there's a guy holding an umbrella over this gentleman while he's talking. It was direct heat. The temperature was 105 or hotter, the real temp. The heat index was in the teens, and he's wearing a dress shirt and slacks, and it was hot out there. Brad and I were both videoing this, and our phones overheated at the same time, so I have to put together part of my video and another video that State Minority Leader Tony McCombie took for us, and where he goes in and talks about what Nancy Pelosi did when she got here. Very interesting stuff. We have been blessed by Americans for Prosperity, who invited myself and Brad to go and take this trip and learn, and we're trying to share as much of it as we can with you throughout this week, and it'll continue to be part of the conversation, I'm sure, for many, many days to come. And Centric Security for sponsoring us on this trip, centricstl.com, if you want to check out how you can secure your business and your people here in the bi-state region. Centric Security is the best at it, and support them if you are looking for somebody who can provide you that security as well. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have a little Ask Me Anything on the Annie Frey Show. If you haven't gotten your question in, join us on the Annie Frey YouTube channel and throw it up there. We've got a lot of them today. So I think that we'll start with your questions. Hannah will pick and choose her favorites when we come back. Don't go away.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Stewart's American Mortgage, where you can get the bagel loan, and the only place that you can get the bagel loan. We've heard about mortgage rates. They've been in the news. They went sky high within the last 10, 12 months or so, but they've come down a little bit since then. If you are looking to purchase a home and you want to get the best possible rate and save loads of cash on not having to pay any of those closing costs, the bagel loan is your destination. If you want the ins and outs and the deep details on the whole thing, Stewie will explain it to you until you completely understand it. It's the way he had to treat me. I was like, say it one more time. And because I was like, where's the catch? Well, there's no catch. There's no closing cost. He doesn't roll them into the loan. He doesn't tuck them away, so you have to just deal with them later. You save that money. He does business the old-fashioned way. He works directly with you. So when you call or you text 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440, you are going to get Stewie's phone. Call him, text him. You can Google the bagel loan to find out all the details that you need and learn more about Stewart's American Mortgage. NMLS number 226715.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Couponing. Wow, you didn't strike me as the coupon type.
Just trying to stay ahead of inflation. Gas, groceries, everything. It's all more expensive. I need to save wherever I can.
Have you tried Upside yet?
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that I use that pays cash back for every gallon of gas I buy. You've got to buy gas to get around anyway. Might as well get paid for it.
Come on, does that really add up to anything?
I've already made around $200. The extra cash helped pay down my bills, and I even had a little extra left to treat myself.
And the Upside app is free?
Totally free, and the cash back is real. You can transfer the cash right to your bank account.
I'm downloading Upside right now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code OIL to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code OIL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code OIL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
This Little Light is a new podcast hosted by Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Join him as he explores falling in love with music, music education, and the creative process while interviewing the biggest names in music, like Rick Rubin.
I like things that are stripped down. I've always liked things that are stripped down. Then I can get to the point where I like something that's stripped down, and what's it like with an orchestra.
This Little Light is a presentation of Cadence 13. Subscribe and download it now on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Come to the enchanted attic.
Come to the enchanted attic. Come to the enchanted attic.
Diane, what are you doing?
I'm chanting. Come to the enchanted attic.
But why do you keep saying come to the enchanted attic?
Duh, because it works like magic. Tony, every time I say come to the enchanted attic, people show up at our store.
Well, you can keep chanting if you want to, but I know why people shop at our store.
And I know what you're going to say. It's those healing gemstone mugs you picked out.
Yes.
And our large crystal and stone collection that you picked out.
Yes.
But what about our unique silver and gemstone jewelry?
That you picked out?
Yeah.
Well, it is pretty amazing.
So come to the Enchanted Attic, 304 South Main Street in historic St. Charles, 636-949-9502. Free gift with every purchase. We love this store.
Ask Me Anything coming up in the next segment. You can still get your questions in on the Annie Frey Show YouTube page. Also, Xs and Ohs starting at the 2 o'clock hour. Right now, it's 1:35. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
She grew up on the side of the road where the church bells ring and strong love grows. She grew up good, she grew up slow, like American honey. Steady as
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Lots of interesting things to talk about outside of that conversation that we just heard from Othel Brand, who is the president of the Water District in Mission, Texas, in Hidalgo County. And if you didn't get a chance to listen to that, you can rewind to the beginning of this past hour where we started playing that. If you watch us on the YouTube channel or if you want to catch it later, you can watch him. We shared the video that I took. Brian, anything you want to add to that conversation before we move on?
I think I'm just interested in knowing just how this happened, where he describes being a kid and the border just sounds like it was just not an issue. And then over the span of his lifetime, it has become a terrible, huge issue
He said
on the same land.
In the last 5 years, he started carrying. He's a Texan,
Yeah.
lifelong Texan, and he just started carrying in the last 5 years.
Yeah. And it's because he's a businessman too, right? I mean,
Well, yeah.
so he has to care about these things because they're affecting him in probably every way possible.
The other key thing that I want to add and highlight from what he said, and Brad can speak to this too, is he talks about if you go into the city, McAllen, Texas, which is how I say it, but he says McAllen, and I think that's probably the right way to say it.
And
I'm gonna go with him.
Hidalgo.
Yeah. If you listen to the way he speaks about these communities, they're very safe communities. And they said McAllen is the 7th safest city in Texas. There are a lot of cities in Texas. McAllen is safe. And when we were driving around some of these, we popped that video up when we were driving through the charter bus, and it was like, it looked like desolate land, and then all of a sudden there's TJ Maxx and Buffalo Wild Wings, and like it just looks like suburban Missouri or Illinois. And it felt safe.
Oh, yeah.
At that point. But the rest of the time, you're just kind of looking around like on the outskirts.
Yeah. So like, and then you contrast that with what was going on in Reynosa, which is just across the border in Mexico, how he was saying that they needed the Federales, which is the federal police force that they have in Mexico, to rotate people every 6 months because the cartels are having rolling gun battles in the streets. And they can't keep a local police force because if you're local, they get a file on you. They find out who your family is. They find out who your kids are. And then they start making threats on you. And, so the city's safe. And the reason that he said that is because that's where the tourist money comes in. So you keep the tourists safe. You don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Yeah. There's so much function that has to exist for the people that are border cities and counties. They have to live with this. They've had to figure out how to exist and live with this problem that's taking place there. I talked earlier this week about the experience of going to Catholic Charities, and I've talked to some people on background since then who know, because I know Catholic Charities has been kind of in the news as like an enabler of all of this. It was not my up close and personal experience that lasted maybe an hour tops. There's a lot more to learn about it. But number one, square one of this problem starts with the president of the United States and that person's willingness to see this. It's the thing that Mr. Brand said that resonated with me the most. We have to have the will to fix this problem. And not only even before that, from the outside looking in, we have to have the will to identify it as a problem. And it doesn't seem like the current administration is willing to do that at all. And it seems like a very active decision on this administration's part. Like I said, I'll upload that video to the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Would love for you to check it out. I'm going to put some other content up there this weekend. Just haven't been able to get to it. Getting home and spending time with the kids and everything, trying to balance everything. I will put all of the content up on the YouTube channel that I can. So be sure to subscribe there. We just need a little over a couple hundred to get to 6,000. All right. Ask me anything on a Friday?
You have to ask me nicely. Don't make me beg here.
Ask me anything.
Tell me the truth!
All right, we are getting a flood of questions about clothes today. Amy asked, does everyone have their own clothes on today? I was not here yesterday. What happened?
You don't even know what happened?
No. I'm assuming a swap.
Brad was the objective party in the room.
I think what happened is that either Ryan wore his wife's shirt or his child's shirt to work.
Neither is true.
No.
Hannah,
somebody on the chat pointed that out. And then whenever somebody on the chat pointed that out, we both looked and were like,
they said somebody, I think Brian M, suggested that maybe Ryan's shirt looked like it was his son's. And then
not because it was too tight, I don't think.
No. It wasn't a size. It was a
saying.
style.
They thought it looked like a child's shirt, which was stupid. And that listener should be ashamed of himself.
Oh,
and not only was he wrong, but it was a nice shirt. It was like I was stepping up. It wasn't I was stepping down. I was going into another level of shirt, and they all just couldn't accept my success. I was rising above their shirts, and they had to bring me down a notch.
You'd really have to go back and watch the YouTube from yesterday, and it hit probably what time?
1:45.
1:45? It ended up in Ryan and I swapping tops.
Oh.
Yeah.
What did you wear, Ryan?
I wore Annie's.
What were you wearing?
It was a very nice red blazer with a tank top tied in a knot down on the bottom left. Navy.
Red blazer, navy top.
Cute.
And so I wore his shirt, which was actually incredibly comfortable.
Nice. Okay.
And my parents said that she should keep it and that it looked better on her. But then, that's what happens when the tables are turned. Then all of a sudden, now this is a nice shirt because now Annie's wearing it. Now everybody loves it.
That's not how it went, but
I'm sure you look really sophisticated in that red blazer. All right, next question comes from Scott Lane. He asked, if you could do anything to, quote, fix the Cardinals, what would it be? Would you get a new manager, fire Mo? I don't know who that is. Bring in a new starting pitcher, a blockbuster trade, or just sell and start rebuilding?
He means Missouri.
So what would you do to fix the Cardinals?
I messaged Brad last night, and I said, what if Wayno was a player manager for the rest of the year?
I mean, I'd take it.
That'd be awesome. It'd be a reason to go see the games.
I feel like the season is so sad. I'm glad you asked this question. I feel like the season is so sad right now that all I care about is him getting 2 more wins. And I love Adam Wainwright. Listen, I love him. I love everything about him off the field, infinitely more than on the field. He has been a role model for the young people in my house. My husband owns 4 Cardinals jerseys. They're all Adam Wainwright jerseys. And that has not, no pun intended, waned in any amount. And anybody who is in St. Louis who is trying to dunk on Adam Wainwright right now, go away.
Yeah.
Leave. I tweeted this out last night, and I'm going to make a call right now out to you. If you have seen, Adam Wainwright, is he struggling? Of course he's struggling. Yes, we can all tell he's struggling. Do we want him to succeed? We absolutely want to see him succeed. And it's, it's for the baseball portion of it, of course, but I care about Adam Wainwright as a person because he has cared about this city as a person. And he is selfless, and he is somebody who, if my son, my 13-year-old son, had the opportunity to have an audience with Adam Wainwright, I would say, sit down, shut up, and listen to every word this man says. Adam Wainwright has dedicated so much of his time and effort and his success, which has been an enormous blessing on the city of St. Louis. He has given so much of himself that while we can understand that his struggles on the field affect the product on the field, I get it, by no means is he the problem.
No.
By no means is it like, wow, everything's going great, but good grief, Adam Wainwright. And he shouldn't feel that way. But because Adam Wainwright is Adam Wainwright, and he's a competitor, and he cares about his contribution to something larger than himself, he's going to feel a certain type of way. So if you were like me, and you feel like you want to give Adam Wainwright a hug, and I'm not even a hugger, this is what you need to do. I'm challenging you as a listener right now. I'm going to retweet it from my Twitter account right now, and go to Big League Impact. This is how you show your support, and you are a part of something positive. Go to on Twitter at Big League Impact. Uncle Charlie 50 is his Twitter account. I think it's back. I think it was accessible last night.
Okay.
I don't know. Go donate to Big League Impact. Big League Impact is an incredible organization. The description is the platform of sport can end global poverty, U.S.-based, local, and globally minded, founded by Adam Wainwright. You can go to bigleagueimpact.org. He's number 50. Yesterday, I gave $50 to Big League Impact. I know that everybody can't do $50, and I know some of you out there can do $5,000. If you want to support Adam Wainwright for the human that he is, for the role model that he is, for the Christian voice that he is, these are the things that are important to me. Show him you love him by giving to something he's given himself to, that is giving and paying forward. The opportunity exists for you right there. Go be a part of Big League Impact and be a Big League Impact in Adam Wainwright's life right now. I challenge you to do that. If you got $5 to spare, it is $5 well funded.
I didn't even know he was a baseball player. He's been my favorite country artist for some years now.
Stop it.
He's actually a really good singer.
I even know Adam Wainwright.
What do you think to fix the Cardinals?
To me, I think that you call up the Anaheim Angels and you give them whatever they want for Shohei Ohtani. I think that builds excitement in the team. That tells people...
Fix the rotation, fix the bats.
Yeah, it gives you a power bat, like generational bat, generational starting pitching.
It would also show the St. Louis Cardinals fans that you actually care.
And it would show the team, hey, we haven't given up on you yet.
Yeah.
And that could be enough to spark something. I think then, too, you need to get position players in the positions that they are naturally playing. So like last night, Tommy Edman made 2 really great diving catches. Tommy Edman is a shortstop, not a center fielder. You need to get your shortstops at shortstop, and you need to get a center fielder in center field. So go get Mike Trout.
Matt Trout, if he's available,
yeah,
too.
Him too.
Matt Trout and Fenton right now is going, all right. I'm in. At Annie Frey Show, I just retweeted the message to support Big League Impact. If you can donate. If you can retweet. And let's try to make it a thing. Like, what a way to rally around Adam Wainwright. I think it's a positive way to do it. I've been looking for a way to do it.
Our friend Balls asked Annie and Brad, since you guys have been back a few days and you've had some time to think about your trip to the southern border, did you have a moment during the trip that really stuck out to you?
I would definitely say sitting with that little 4-year-old boy coloring and balancing the inhumane nature of what this country is allowing to happen with the just infinite amount of questions I have in my mind of where has this child been and where is this child going? And that child matters. I don't know where he came from, but he matters. And what this country is doing right now is an abomination to put these children in a position to make the trek that they're having to make for the hope of something that is just basically our ineptitude. What we're doing is not humane. And I will never forget that little boy's face.
Yeah. I'm going to piggyback on what you said, because meeting the people that were there at that center, their lives upended and whatnot, and they left everything to come to the United States. when we talk about the cartel, there's two separate problems. There's an immigration problem, there's a border security problem, and they're related. The cartel brings two things across that border. They bring drugs, and then the other thing is they bring people. And what we are doing at the southern border with our border policies and all of that other stuff is we are making it possible for the cartel to make tons of money off of trafficking human beings, putting these people through terrors and dangers that you guys can't even imagine. So what we need to do is address our policies, address everything, and like Mr. Brand was saying, you've got to have the will to do something about it. And so that's what I took away from it. It's like you can't just talk a good game. Actually go do something about it, even if it costs you politically.
All right, next question. We're rolling into the 4th of July questions. We got a lot of them that intertwine. Brandon asked, how does everyone keep their pets calm through the fireworks? Brandon has to hang out with his dog and watch her favorite shows, Doug and Bluey on Disney, to calm their dog down. So,
putting a dog on the TV is not the way to calm my child, my Rosie down. My dog doesn't mind. It's never been an issue in my house.
My dog freaks out and has hidden in the bathroom before while they were going off and just stood in the corner and shook. So what Terry found was this, it's like a paste that you can give your dog, and there's all sorts of like melatonin and
Is it like CBD for dogs?
Yeah, but it's not CBD. It's other things.
They smoke joints.
But it's smell.
Yeah, it's not CBD. It's full
here,
marijuana.
Yeah, just inhale.
Take a big drag and blow it right in his face. No.
That is terrible advice for dogs.
Yeah, don't
not
do
the
that.
advice
But do it
that
like
we're
Bill
giving.
Clinton. Don't inhale. Just put it in your mouth and blow.
Yeah. But we give him this paste.
Whoa.
Anyway.
What does...
Right.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even know what to do with that.
Nothing. Do nothing.
So we have this paste that Terry found on the internet that you can give Poe, and it calms him down and it makes him really mellow. And then we put some calming music on YouTube. Turn the volume up.
How do you calm your dog down, Hannah? It's just too like Bill Clinton.
No, stop it. Do not.
I'm usually the one to keep it back, but I can't.
Man, I wish I could take credit for that being intentional.
Fix it.
What am I supposed to do?
Make something up.
Okay, the way we would. My dog is dead, first of all.
That'll
But
bring us
when
down.
alive, my Saint Bernard, it was the only time we'd let her get on the bed. It was on the 4th of July. She'd crawl up and she would get right between us and like, please cradle me.
Okay.
So what we would do is we would just talk to each other, and anytime there was a firework, we'd go, well, hey, Katie, did you hear it? Like, we try to like overcome the noise of the firework by making loud gestures with our voice.
Next question. How hot does it have to be for you? Wait, how hot does it have to be for it to be too hot to go in a swimming pool? I don't think there's a temperature for this. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, the pool feels like a bathtub. I don't want to get in.
I mean, wouldn't it have to be like Venus? Like where you couldn't get in anymore?
Yeah.
The point of it is to cool off.
Here's a question. Does Hannah know who D. Wallet is? No.
Well, only one person can answer that. That would be
No.
you.
Is that a person?
I think that's your answer.
Yeah. I have no idea
Okay,
who D.
great.
Wallet is. D. Wallet? I don't know.
How would you, Hannah, question, ask me anything.
Is
How
it
would you
pronounced
describe
Ross Perot?
parrot? How would you describe Bill Clinton to doing drugs?
I'm done talking about Bill Clinton for the whole day after your little bit
No
you
kidding.
just
Stop
had.
it.
Let's stop bringing him up.
Are there more
Seriously,
questions?
I'm going to pee my pants. Here we go. Here's a great one. Have you ever mooned anybody? Out of all the things you
Hannah,
could
have
ask
you?
us. No.
I have not either. Ryan, you totally have moon people.
No.
Is there anybody you haven't?
Is there anybody I haven't mooned? I've never mooned any of you.
Bill Clinton?
No, I was not a mooner, but I was a moonee. very much in college. People really loved to get me with the moons. There was many moons.
many moons ago.
I had a roommate, man. He would just love to like walk up and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna reach up here real quick," and his pants would just be half down, you know.
God, did he know? He knew.
Oh, he knew.
Was it a choice?
He knew. Oh, it was a deliberate choice.
Did he need?
Oh yeah, you right?
Yes,
right.
I know what you're talking
Did he just refuse a belt?
No. He
Sized...
would sag on purpose all the way below his butt, and then walk up and just be like, "Oh my gosh, did you see over here like where you'd point at something, his shirt would raise up?"
Men?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Brad, have you ever mooned anyone?
On the advice of my attorney.
I can't believe that either of you have never mooned
I don't
anybody.
believe either one of you. You both have mooned people. Maybe each other.
Well, Brad never answered the question.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. That was the answer.
I honestly, no, I never participated in that game because
Because you were always very serious about it.
losing that game. Yeah, I was like, I can't compete.
They'd walk up and sit on the coffee table and go, "Oh man, there's a crack on your coffee table," and you'd look down and be like, come on, man.
Oh yeah, it was any creative way to show your butt possible, over and over and over.
Okay, next. When you're on a boat, do you prefer to ski, swim, or tube?
I like to yell, "I'm on a boat."
Pick one.
Ski, swim, or tube?
Yeah, like on a lake.
Swim.
Sit in the boat.
You're not going to do any of them?
Mm-mm.
Swim?
I used to go tubing. I'm sorry. I've reached the age where I will pay for that for too long.
Yeah, it is pretty taxing.
Sit me on the front of the boat, get some sun, drink some beverages, and enjoy and I mean, I could enjoy an entire day on a boat on a lake.
Yeah.
But I was skiing with my husband's family in Lake Ouachita. Is that in Arkansas? Maybe that would be the one.
Familiar.
And
I think that's a city in Kansas.
I was
That's Wichita.
getting ready for the boat to take off, and this fish, I hope, it was the length of my leg, went down my leg. And I was like, go! And I can't ski. So I just held on and went away from that fish and was like, get me the heck out of there, and I will never do that again. No.
Wow. You can't ski? It's like Richard Pryor in Superman 3.
Never been able to. I mean, okay, I've tried it like 5 times when I was younger, and I couldn't get it, and I just don't like to be in the water. So I don't know that I was really giving it my best effort, but I've done tubing a lot. That's super fun, but I'm just, the whole time I'm doing it, I'm like, I could die. Why am I doing this? So it's not really the thrill that I need to have.
Tubing's my favorite.
X's and O's?
X's and O's.
When we come back, don't go away.
Jules on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jules on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jules on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jules on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. Jules on Hampton.
Yes, with inflation, interest rate increases, and a possible recession looming, we are no doubt facing uncertain times in the housing market. But as a realtor with over 20 years of experience, I can tell you, if you're thinking of selling your home, now more than ever, you need a realtor to help you through these times while saving you money. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty, and we offer all of this for only 4%. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444.
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Mark Cox here. Give Grill Master Tony a call for all your corporate lunches and catering. He does box lunches, which includes the meat, a couple of sides, a chocolate chip cookie, and even a drink. You can choose from brisket, which is delicious, by the way, hickory smoked prime rib, or turkey French dip, even pulled chicken. Grill Master Tony's Catering. You've got to check this out. He'll deliver it and set it up for you as well. Order online today at grillmastertony.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
He's not giving up on student loan relief. Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Biden set to outline next steps after the Supreme Court struck down his debt cancellation plan in a 6-3 ruling.
The Supreme Court said today that the White House didn't have authority to provide billions in student loan forgiveness absent any authorization from Congress. It does not appear that there's any path for that there. And right now, it is unclear what backup plan the White House has.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. The court's conservative majority rejecting the argument that a law allowing changes and waivers in federal aid programs could also allow the debt relief. The president urging Congress to act on more protections for the LGBTQ community after a Colorado web designer won a Supreme Court fight over religious objections to designing web pages for same-sex couples. The State Department just out with its own assessment of the U.S. pullout from Afghanistan in 2021, and it's more critical of the Biden administration than a previous White House report, which largely blamed the Trump administration for a lack of planning. The State Department report on the troop pullout and evacuation operation cites the absence of a senior diplomat to oversee all elements of the crisis response and says decisions by both President Biden and his predecessor had serious consequences for the viability of the Afghan government, which quickly fell to the Taliban. The holiday weekend rush is on, but can the airlines handle it after thousands of delays and cancellations since last weekend, blamed on a combination of weather and staffing issues?
Absolute insanity.
My husband spent hours on the phone, literally hours, and we would get disconnected after 2 hours of being on the phone.
But then it just kept getting pushed back, and changed.
The U.S. Transportation Secretary calling this weekend a stress test with record air travel expected. AAA also expects a record number of Americans to hit the road. America's listening to Fox News.
This could be the start of a break-in.
Stop. This is Simply Safe.
Or the end of one.
Police are on their way.
Introducing the latest innovation in home security. 24/7 LiveGuard protection, only from Simply Safe. Now, agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is?
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Simply hot times this afternoon. 100 for the high. The heat index 105 to 110. Might be a spot thunderstorm. This evening, partly cloudy in the 90s. Some scattered thunderstorms after midnight. 72. Saturday, a changeable sky. Little batch of thunderstorms really early in the morning Saturday. A much better chance Saturday afternoon. And 93. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But inflation and recession has you wondering if all your hard-earned equity will still be there. What if you could recession-proof your equity right now? You can with TrueHold. Truehold will buy your home for its best current value before a recession can erode it. You get to bank all the cash now and live in your home for as long as you want, and Truehold covers all property taxes, insurance, repairs, and maintenance. And since Truehold pays your home's current value in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't wait for inflation, recession, and interest rates to erode your home's value. Visit Truehold.com and discover how much Truehold will buy your home for today based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's Truehold.com.
Man, I remember going back years and years and years. In the studio right now, there's an intern, and we're talking about he doesn't have any need for air conditioning, but he's not responsible for the heating and cooling equipment in his house. And it just reminded me, I don't know why, when I was his age, maybe a little bit younger, I was always told by my father that we don't need air conditioning. What did the cowboys do? How did they make it? There was no such thing as air conditioning, and they were riding on a horse through a desert. And I went, wow, I guess I don't need air conditioning. And then I went, you know what? The cowboys died when they were 21 years old. Do you think maybe they died by heat exhaustion? If your air conditioner is broke, we're going to try to get to you the best we can. Call me, Bart Inman. Remember, that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I, the number, Missouri and Illinois. One easy number, 314-293-2600, or Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
AM radio provides always-on news, sports, talk, traffic, and weather reports. And it's also a vital service that provides important emergency information when your community needs it most. Tell Congress you need AM radio to stay in your car. Because when cell phones and the internet are down, this free emergency service is critical. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save up to $1,550 in carrier rebates and get 0% financing for up to 72 months on a new HVAC system. Rebates end June 30th. For details, aircomfortservice.com.
If you need solid hires fast, you need Indeed. The all-in-one hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates from the same place. Want to find your next great hire? Visit Indeed.com/credit.
You could be watching this right now. Tune into the Annie Frey Show live stream. YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Twitch. You know what? Just type in Annie Frey Show live stream. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Why is everybody laughing?
I was talking to you and you couldn't hear me. You were zoned in on the segment.
Maybe I could hear you and I was ignoring you.
That's also possible.
What did you say?
I said somebody... I was going to mention somebody who loved the normal opening that we play in the 2 o'clock hour, but we didn't play it. So
Sorry, everybody.
Did you just want to call Hannah out?
Yeah, thank you for that,
No,
Ryan.
it was off air. It was literally off air, but nobody heard it. So now we're talking about it.
Happy Friday, everybody.
The YouTube live chat poll, if you haven't joined us there yet, we're going to play Xs and Ohs here in just a second. But the poll is in the live chat portion of today's live broadcast. Grade the Supreme Court. You give them an A, a B/C, a D, or an F. And we definitely want to know why you voted the way you did. So you can leave your comments. Hannah will highlight those in the 2:45 segment. So go ahead and vote today. Grade the Supreme Court. Real quick, Ryan, what grade?
A.
Yeah, I'm going to give them an A.
Ryan?
B or C?
Hannah?
Hannah, nice
I've
to meet
changed
you.
it now. Now that Brad said something.
A? Hannah?
B or C?
B or C? I'm going A. All right, I'm excited to see how this shakes out with our audience. You guys need to participate unless you want to. I don't want to put you on the spot. We've got Drew and Vatty, sales managers here at Odyssey with 97.1. Do you want to weigh in?
What was the question again?
Grade the Supreme Court? You would take the pass.
I'm going to pass.
Pass, yeah.
I'm going to vote A.
A?
Oh,
cool. A? Well, these two individuals here can help you advertise on 97.1, specifically with the Annie Frey Show. If you're interested, you can reach out and we will connect you. So it is Friday. It is 2 o'clock. It is X's and Ohs time. Ryan, have you done the appropriate preparation for an A-worthy X's and Ohs game?
Usually the answer is yes. This week the answer is also yes. So no change.
Okay.
Other than the fact that I only did 4 questions this week, so you're going to hear a lot of repeats. Hope that's okay going into a holiday weekend. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. This is X's and Ohs. There are a total of 9 questions.
At least half the people in this room believed him.
Yeah,
well, yeah.
You did. I could tell by the looks on your faces.
They're like, of course he did.
Work with you long enough.
There are 9 questions behind you on a tic-tac-toe board. Both of you have played, so you know how to play. But as I understand it, Drew is undefeated.
Undefeated.
3 for 3 at X's and Ohs, which I'm not sure has ever happened. And certainly 4 for 4 has never happened.
Well, if I win today, I'm calling it.
Hall of Fame.
I'm going into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And that's the end of my career.
Patty's ready.
I'm rolling my eyes. You're going down.
Patty can't wait to take me down.
For people listening who haven't heard us play X's and Ohs, why don't you set it up for us?
So there are 9 squares in a tic-tac-toe board. Each one of those has a corresponding question, but our contestants don't have to answer each question. They will pick the square to try to get that for an X or an O. But if they pick the square, then they also have to pick the expert in front of them, which is either Annie, Hannah, or Brad, to answer that question and simply disagree or agree with their answer. So with that in mind, we're going to have Patty go first, and you're going to be X's this week because you lost to Drew last time, so we're giving you a little bit of a leg up.
Losers first.
I lost to Steve Moore.
Oh, did you? I thought
That's
you guys
even worse.
played last time.
No.
Okay.
Shout out Steve Moore.
No offense, Steve. That's even more embarrassing.
Oh, man. He's dumb. That was awful that you lost to him, is what Drew was saying, not me.
Actually, he didn't say that.
Okay. Patty is going first. Which square do you want?
I'll take the middle square.
Middle square, number 5.
Smart move.
Who is going to answer this question for you?
I'll start with Brad.
Okay.
Ooh.
Brad.
No pressure, right?
Here's some sound from Barstool Sports' Dave Portnoy. Now, before I play it, you're going to have to tell me not only what city he's talking about, but then fill in the blank at the end of the clip. Here you go.
You got rats. You got trash in the city. You got cars, planes, private planes. You got people getting slashed on the subway. You got flash mobs robbing stores. And you're coming for...
So not the beep in the middle of the clip. You don't have to fill that one.
Okay, good.
But the one at the end.
We had a whole conversation about that.
Yeah, first of all, what city is he talking about? What is the beep at the end?
And I've got to get these
So it's
right.
a two-parter?
It's a two-parter.
It's a two-parter.
Yeah.
All right. So Dave Portnoy.
Yep.
Okay. Dave Portnoy is, you got rats and rioting and mobs of people. That's New York City.
Okay.
And he's talking about coal-fired pizza places.
Okay, very specific.
Oh, that was very specific.
Patty?
I'm going to agree.
That is a wise move. That is exactly right.
Do I get 2 X's?
You can put 2 in the same square if you want, but I was going to allow just pizza or cold fire, but you got it exactly right. Coal oven pizzerias is what he says there. So good job. That means it's Drew's turn.
That was impressive. I'm going to go with number 9.
Bottom right.
Number 9, who is answering this question for you?
Hannah.
Okay.
Hannah. Ron DeSantis.
Woo!
Love him.
Has specific plans for how he'd drain the swamp. He'd eliminate entire government agencies, he said this week. That he would eliminate 4 agencies if elected president. Name any one of the 4 agencies he said he would eliminate.
Was it agencies or departments?
Or departments, yeah, sure.
Just for...
Yeah.
Department of is the first part of my answer.
Okay. Looking for that second part.
Sports department. Sporting goods.
I'm going to guess something that has to do with, like, climate change or something like that.
Okay.
Department of Climate Change.
Department of Climate Change.
Have you heard of that?
I can't say whether or not I have. Regardless, if he's elected president, it's gone.
This is
Drew.
It doesn't exist, but how specific does her answer have to be? I'm going to disagree.
Name any one of the four that he said he was going to get rid of.
I'm going to disagree.
Okay, you're going to disagree. That's the right choice.
Put my circle in number 9, please.
Do you know any of them?
Education.
Yeah, I was going to say
Department of Education, Commerce, Energy, and the IRS.
I would
IRS.
almost say that her thought process was lingering into energy to give Hannah credit.
Yeah.
But
actually,
thank you.
that's very
Yes,
true.
Yes,
she was going
but
in
she
that
wasn't
direction.
able to name the specific one. But
That's
smart
right.
thinking.
That's right. So
if I was
Drew,
him, I'd add ATF to that list too.
okay,
Get rid of that.
President Brad's getting rid of 5 agencies.
Yeah, a little bit better. Vote Brad 2024.
All right, both of you are on the board, and now Patty, it's your turn. Where do you want to go?
Choose wisely.
I'll go with number 8.
Number 8. And who is answering this question for you?
I'm going to go with Annie.
Number 8.
Annie.
Yes.
Fall Out Boy just released an updated version of a pop culture / news lyric song that was released in 1989. The difference is Fall Out Boy's version uses all pop culture and news from 1989, 1990 through now. Here is a clip of the song.
Harry Potter, Twilight, Michael Jackson dies, nuclear accident, Fukushima, Japan, Crimea Peninsula, Cambridge Analytica, Kim Jong-un, Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man.
All right. The question is, what song is that an updated cover of?
Billy Joel's "We Didn't Start the Fire." Isn't
With
he
a
Billy
question
Joel?
mark at the end.
And I'm going to agree.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Look at her go.
Right.
Yeah, good job.
Dang.
Wow.
Is that really that impressive?
Well, I didn't know based on just the verse if it would be a hard one to get.
I don't know that I would have gotten that.
I thought that was
Yeah, I'm thinking
Well,
of you sometimes. I'm like, would Hannah get this? I don't know.
He only thinks of you when he's like, Hannah won't
Yeah.
know.
Hannah won't
She's
know
gonna
this.
fail. Let's
Definitely doing this question.
Thank you, Ryan. So
All
sweet.
right.
I remember playing "We Didn't Start the Fire" on the jukebox in the Edwardsville Panteras in the early 90s. That's it.
It was
That's the story.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
That is an iconic song.
Oh, it is.
Absolutely. But with new lyrics, I didn't know if you guys would get it. All right.
It's
so
the same melody.
yeah. Yes, indeed.
It's not. Anyway,
Look, I'll ask more Terminator questions if you want. I'll make it hard.
I know a lot more about it now.
All right. That means that there is a threat on the board.
There is a threat. I have to go with number 2.
Number 2. And who is answering?
Brad.
Brad, you have
For the block?
stumbled into AI, is what we're calling this now, because these are the AI questions.
Oh, boy.
You
This
were
is,
really putting the extra effort in and have a different sound.
it might, but I was actually considering putting a robot
He
voice
actually
on that.
created that sound with AI.
Yeah, that's a robot doing that. So this is a real quote from the week. I've run it through AI, as you might have expected from that conversation we just had. So it's a real quote, but it's not the real sound. You'll have to tell me who said this.
I've never been anti-vaccine, and I've said that hundreds and hundreds of times, but it doesn't matter, because that is a way of silencing me. Using that pejorative to describe me is a way of silencing or marginalizing me.
Ooh.
Who said that?
Man.
That is Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Agree or disagree for the block?
He looked very confident when he said that.
Brad's always confident.
I was just going to
Yeah,
say.
it doesn't matter.
And Brad's talking.
Got a
But
poker
he was
face.
He's
he
feeling
was
good
even
about it.
pointing at the table. I'm going to agree. I'm going to go with it.
Okay, here's who really said it.
I've never been anti-vaccine.
Yeah,
Okay,
You know,
Junior.
I've said
Yep,
that hundreds
you got
and hundreds of times, but it doesn't matter. Because that is a way of silencing me. Using that pejorative to describe me is a way of silencing or marginalizing me.
Did you think it could have been somebody else, or were you pretty sure?
I was pretty sure.
Yeah, okay. All right, there's the block. Patty, back to you.
I'll go with square number 4.
Number 4.
Center left.
And who is your expert?
I'll try Hannah.
Okay.
Hannah is an expert. Hannah, Fox News reported yesterday that one of the candidates for GOP, the presidential nomination, was in Ukraine showing support, which would be, according to them, the first GOP candidate to visit the country. Which Republican candidate for president was visiting Ukraine?
Ooh. Let me think. DeSantis?
Say it.
Trump?
She did, Mr. President.
Yeah.
She did say it. She said DeSantis. You locking it in?
Not confidently, but I have to. Yep.
Okay, DeSantis. Patty, do you agree or disagree? The balance of the game really can hang on these kind of questions.
It really does.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree.
Good choice.
That is a good choice. It was actually Mike Pence.
Oh, wow.
So
I did
staying
not know
on
that.
top,
There
Patty.
she goes.
All right.
Threatening. All
My
right.
sister would be proud.
We have 3 X's for Patty, 2 O's for Drew, and we're going to take a quick break right now and come back and wrap up the rest of this X's and O's game. Play along with us as you're listening, streaming us on the Odyssey app, or join and watch on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Wrapping up X's and O's when we return. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Jumping at a gun. I'm feeling like a winner. I feel like the one. You're doing something to me. You're doing something strange. Well, jump back. Talk to me, woman. You make me want to make a
So, Foley Dental Group, that's where the Frey family goes to get their dental health care handled. And I feel fully confident sending my kiddos to Foley Dental and putting them in the care, the literal hands of the dentists there. They can help you with so many different issues that you might have when it comes to your dental needs. But it's not just, I've got this chipped tooth, which I actually have a chipped tooth right now, or I've got this pain in my mouth. If you're just looking for a dentist that you can trust, if you're looking for someone who you can walk in and let them do the cleaning and do the x-rays, the most basic 6-month appointment, you are going to love the care that you're going to get at Foley Dental Group. You're going to walk in, you're going to be received by the kindest people in the business. And from there all the way to the point that you leave, you're going to be comfortable. And I think that that's very important when it comes to dental services. They have a whole health approach to your dental visit. So you're paying that dental copay, but you're getting a whole health benefit from visiting the people at Foley Dental Group. Mention the Annie Frey Show when you stop by. Tell them I said hello, and you can find out who I go to see, who my family goes to see, but they have a whole host of dentists there to help you. They're taking new patients right now, and they're waiting for your phone call. 618-288-9670. 618-288-9670. Online at FoleyDentalGroup.com.
All right, St. Louis, imagine you're a young Joe Buck getting ready for a pregame interview with the Tony La Russa.
When he goes, why don't we, I'll let you ask me questions today. We'll see how that goes. And then tomorrow's a new chapter.
Listen to the full interview with Joe Buck on the PBP, Voices of Baseball, a new Odyssey podcast featuring with the greatest announcers from around the game. The PBP, Voices of Baseball, available now on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The Pemiscot County has issued an Amber Alert for a child abduction that occurred at 534 South Martin Luther King Drive, Haiti Heights, Missouri on June 30, 2023 at 10:30 a.m. Abducted was Ice Lawrence, black male, age 1. Suspect vehicle is a red 2017 Jeep Renegade bearing Missouri registration EJ5, E5A. Suspect is Ibra. I'm Lawrence, a black male, 35, 6 feet tall, 181 pounds, has black hair and brown eyes. Child was abducted from the residence by suspect who was armed with a handgun. Suspect has made threats to harm the child. please call 911 or Pemiscot County at 573-333-4101 if you have any information pertaining to this alert.
Cars are an important investment, and you have the power to protect it. Remove valuables from your car or place out of view. Roll up your windows completely. Don't leave your car running while unattended, especially during the winter. And always lock your doors and take your keys or fob with you. If you know something about a vehicle theft, call us at 1-800-TEL-NICB.
This is a public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
Man, what a great party you're throwing here. This wasp nest is great.
Yeah, man, we got about 70 wasps in here.
Too bad we can't fit any more wasps in here. It looks like they're having fun outside, stinging all the kids. Oh, man, who just pulled up?
Oh, no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They seem to kill every one of my parties.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888. Learn more about our special $67 offer. You can visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Tony LaRussa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet, first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Don't suffer from seasonal allergies when Air Comfort Service has solutions to remove up to 99% of allergens. Improve your indoor air quality and get in your comfort zone. AirComfortService.com.
97.1 and thousands of music options, plus millions of podcasts are all on the free Odyssey app. Download the app or tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 and it comes up automatically. 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show.
He liked drinking or smoking. It was fun till he asked we could keep things open.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
His head screwed on straight. So I found out he was married and that wasn't on the way. Mama's been praying I'd do some changing after all this heartbreaking. It's finally got me thinking I should try Jesus.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Friday. We are grateful that you're spending a little bit of your afternoon with us. We know it's a choice, and we're grateful that you're hanging out with us and taking it into the weekend with a little X's and O's. Our contestants, Drew and Patty, you want to set up the situation for us now before we get back into the game?
So what we have is a situation where historically, Drew has dominated this game, and Patty is not. Yet.
Oh, man.
Yet.
Patty, how many times have you played?
Once.
Okay, just for for context, she's 0 for 1.
She's got my back against the wall at the moment.
She does. She's got a good-looking board here. Now, she's only got 3 squares, and you've only got 2, but the placement of those squares is very smart, very well done, and nobody's actually missed a question yet. So, with that in mind, it is now Drew's turn, and we were talking in the break. I think you already kind of know where you're going to go, but let us know.
I have to
There
go
is a
with
lot of strategy that has been implemented
there's more
here.
strategy in this game than I think maybe I've ever heard in a break that you guys really want to win. I think you must really, really dislike each other. But I don't know. I mean, I'm just judging based on what I've seen.
We're both very competitive individuals. I'm going to go with number 6.
Okay, number 6. And who's answering the question for you?
I'm going with Brad.
Ooh, this is my last one.
Okay, Brad. Well, you have once again stumbled into
Joe Biden.
AI. This is a real sound clip from the week, but it won't sound like who actually said it. Tell me, who said this, Brad?
But let's always take a moment to also see what we have achieved thus far, while we clearly see the moment we are presently in. So, we have achieved a lot.
You want me to play that one more time?
I don't know that it'll help.
Here you go anyway.
But let's always take a moment to also see what we have achieved thus far, while we clearly see the moment we are presently in. So, we have achieved a lot.
There are so many people saying dumb things these days.
Yes, I know. I've got a lineup card here. It's like, is it Gavin Newsom? Is it Joe Biden? You know. This one I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Kamala Harris on this one.
Ooh, Kamala Harris.
Really safe guess.
That is a really good guess. It's even phrased the way she would say it, right?
Yeah, where she just rephrases the sentence
The
seven
sentence.
times in a row, but doesn't ever come to the conclusion.
Yeah, never actually says
It's
anything.
like an 8th grade essay.
It's graded for.
Tell me what you're
How
going
many
to tell me.
words do we need?
Yeah. Tell me, and then tell me what you told me.
I'm going to jump on this bandwagon here. I'm going to agree that I know it's risky.
It is risky.
It's a risky agree.
No matter what you do is going to be risky, though.
Yeah, I'm going for it.
All right, well, here's who actually said that this week.
But let's always take a look at what we have achieved.
Yes.
What?
I knew
While
it.
we clearly see the moment that we are presently in.
Oh my God, that was painful.
So we have achieved.
It's still
a lot.
going.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
That
put
is
that in
so
AI, and it took like 3 seconds for AI to get it out.
And it took about 12
AI
for
was
her.
like, no, I'm not doing it.
Even AI
Don't
knows
make me
better.
do this.
I can't believe you guys like logicked your way into that. And we were both right. Nice work. All right, Patty.
Hannah or me?
And what square?
Yeah, you got to pick your square.
Pick your square.
I'm going to go square number 3.
Top right.
Okay, number 3.
That's a good choice.
And I'm going to pick Annie.
I like how Drew's like, it's a good choice. Like it's a year of wine. Number 3. Oh,
I'll
I've
allow
always liked that one.
So, are you X's or O's?
I'm X's.
So this is for the block.
This
For
is
the
for the
black.
block or the win.
All right.
Okay. Annie.
Yeah.
The Cardinals lost 14-0 yesterday against the Houston Astros.
Glad I didn't get this
Neat.
one.
Hannah went to the game this week. They win that game?
Is this part of the question?
No. I'm just wondering.
But no, we didn't win.
You didn't win that one? Okay. The Cardinals are in last place in the NL Central. But, Annie, are they in last place in the National League?
You've got the Nationals, the Mets, the Padres. They're all real sad. No.
They're all real sad.
Okay. She's going to say no. They do not have the worst record currently in the National League.
Is everything I said? Yeah, they're all National League.
Mm-hmm. Agree or disagree? For the square.
It's a tough one.
And if you don't get it, tic-tac-toe goes to Drew here. Doesn't mean the game's over,
So sad.
but a lot on the line.
I'm going to agree with Annie. I don't think the Cardinals have the worst record.
It takes too long to think about it, though. It's possible.
It's pretty bad.
You
but
both are correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yay, we're not last
Yay,
place.
we're not
So,
the worst.
even though we've had some tough questions, you guys still have not gotten one wrong.
It's a standoff.
Woohoo!
It is a standoff. This is a very competitive game. Sometimes we create drama, but you guys are like really
We
into
never
this.
create drama.
Well, that's true. Everything we do is above board.
Except for that last hour. That was sketch.
That was,
And pretty much all of
Yeah.
yesterday.
You're going to have to go to HR after this show is over, by the way. They messaged me.
Oh, really?
I don't know
I don't
where
know why
it
they would
is.
message you instead of me. That's weird.
Well, it's one of those.
It's that bad.
Oh, it's take your box with you, huh? All right. Who we back to Patty here?
No, it's
Drew?
my turn.
Drew?
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
I have to do number 7.
bottom left.
Okay, number 7. Who's answering this
Or a
question?
tic-tac-toe.
no, this is for a block.
Hannah.
This is for a block.
Okay, my last one.
He's O's. This
Yes.
is for a block. Okay.
Yes.
All right, number 7.
For
Drew,
the
pick
block.
me.
Hannah, Annie and Brad visited the southern U.S. border this week, primarily in McAllen, Texas, which is pronounced how now?
According to Mr. Brand, McAllen.
McAllen.
Yeah.
Callan.
Which of these cities is furthest north? Hannah, I'm going to give you 3 cities. Mexico City, Mexico, Tijuana, Mexico, or McAllen, Texas.
McAllen, Texas.
Of those 3, which one is furthest north? Drew, do you agree that McAllen, Texas, of those 3, Mexico City, Mexico, Tijuana, Mexico, and McAllen, Texas, which one is furthest north?
Did you lock your
She
answer?
says McAllen, Disagree. Drew is correct.
Yep.
Drew is
Was it
correct.
east?
I'm not sure what that means, but
it doesn't matter.
the answer is Tijuana. Tijuana is the furthest north.
I would not have known the answer to that question.
It's tough because they're both right on the border, but
I do
the border
know
is higher there.
where we were. You can be north and south of the border and be in. It's really windy. What?
Nothing.
Is that east?
Yeah.
That's all right.
I did. Next question. Moving forward.
Positive self-talk, Hannah. Positive self-talk.
Yeah. Hey,
Yep.
control that voice in your head.
Tell it to shut up.
That got her dancing, so that's good.
There's a little bop. All right, one more.
This is it. It all comes down to this, Patty.
So no tic-tac-toes.
No.
4-4.
So this.
Yes.
So, and there's no tic-tac-toe possible, so it's just for total squares.
Which all comes
Game's
down
on your
to
shoulders.
this square then.
No
So
pressure,
you
Patty.
get it right, you win. You get it wrong, Drew wins.
No.
This is the way we like it.
You have to win because we have to keep Drew on the board for a possibility for a guest in the future. Because if he retires, that just messes me over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Patty, you ready?
I'm ready.
Number 1.
I'm your girl.
And it is Annie? Okay. Annie,
Yes.
this is not Anthony Fauci, but it does sound like him.
True.
Okay, I'm sorry. If you've had 2 boosters and 2 vaccines, you can get and give COVID to another guy who's had 5 vaccines and 4 boosters.
Who is doing an impersonation of Anthony Fauci? And that was this week.
I know this one. I know the answer.
Even if you know it, think real hard and draw this out because there's tension, and we can all live in that a little bit, I think.
Especially with the drums going.
The drums really add a lot, in my opinion.
Thanks, Todd.
Dana Carvey.
Patty, for the game, defeating an undefeated opponent. Agree or disagree?
I'm gonna agree.
You're gonna agree.
She seems real confident with that.
Yeah. Are you sure? Because you were shaking your head a second ago. You gonna lock that in?
I'm gonna lock it in.
For the game, you are correct. Correct.
High
That
five,
was.
Drew. High five.
That means I have to come back and do this again.
Get to.
You're not
Get to-
retiring
No,
you.
no.
We just said after
No.
5 we were gonna screw around and try to fake you out.
I think that's a good
Good.
ploy.
This
Yeah.
is unfortunate.
This is a great board.
Quite
Good
a game.
job, guys.
Quite a game. Good job. Very competitive.
All right. Well, Drew and Patty, thank you so much for playing Xs Ohs with us. Hope you played along with us on the YouTube channel if you were watching and cheering them along. When we come back, we will wrap up this week's Annie Frey show with Grade the Supreme Court, our YouTube live chat poll. Go on to the Annie Frey YouTube. Look at the live video right now, and the poll is located in the live chat portion. You can grade the Supreme Court there, and Hannah is going to give us those results when we return. Don't go away.
Mama's been praying I do some changing after all this heartbreaking. It's finally
You're listening to The
got me
Annie
thinking
Frey
I
Show
should
on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
see what all the fuss is about. Thinking I should try Jesus. 'Cause every other man let me down. Got me singing hallelujah, hey, freaking man.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to ensure you maximize your investment. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, Board and Batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. They also carry Anderson and Marvin windows and doors. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today. sidingexpress.com.
Jen Teskey with RE/MAX Alliance is the key to a really positive experience buying and selling real estate in Illinois. Jen Teskey, T-E-S-K-E, Jen Teskey with RE/MAX Alliance. You can call her or text her right now and get the conversation started if you're looking for the right home, or if you're thinking about selling your home or need to sell it faster, maybe not even going to sell it in the next, 12, 18 months. You can start that conversation with Jen Teskey, and they will be happy to walk you through the process to make sure you have a really positive experience. 618-541-1010. She has a whole staff that is there to help support her in making sure that your experience in buying and selling is a really positive one. You're going to be recommending Jen Teskey to everybody you know when you meet her and work with her and have the success with her that you've been hoping to have with the right realtor. Jen Teskey with RE/MAX Alliance at 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010. You can find her online at jenteskeyhomes.com.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness 101 for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness 101. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
Did you know St. Louis leads the nation in rounding up at our local McDonald's restaurants? That small change can make a big difference by supporting the building of a new local Ronald McDonald House. Please learn more at rmhcstl.com.
This is Hannah, and I'm about to deliver the final results to the Annie Frey Show YouTube live chat poll, which is asking you to grade the Supreme Court. Would you give them an A, a B or a C, a D, or an F? Stay tuned to see what the listeners say. The time is 2:41. This update is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Our legal analyst, Brad Young. If you want to stop discriminating on the basis of race, then stop discriminating on the basis of race. To the left, this is a terrible decision because it eliminates discrimination.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. This is the Annie Frey Show.
Yes! Here comes Amos! Amos Moses was a Cajun. He lived by himself in the
Interact
swamp.
with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
It just knock him in the head with a stump. The Louisiana law gon' get you, Amos. It ain't legal hunting alligator down in the swamp, boy. Now everybody blames his old man for making him mean as a snake. When Amos Moses was a boy, his daddy would use him for alligator bait. Tie a rope around his waist and throw him in the swamp.
Does this song motivate you? Like whatever we're supposed to do next, I'm ready to go do it now.
Well, oddly, what we were supposed to do next, hunt alligators in a swamp.
Wow. Right after you, Ryan.
Yeah.
So when we reach 6,000 subscribers,
Alligator hunting. Let's go. Have you guys seen the Ron DeSantis alligator in the water logo?
No.
No?
It's great. Hannah, I think you'll like it.
Yeah, probably.
Hannah.
Woo! Yep.
Yeah, it's perfect because alligators, swamps, and it's the idea is that the alligator's coming to hunt in the swamp.
So the alligator is going into the swamp to get rid of the swamp creatures.
To eat people. Bad people.
Okay.
I'll break it down for you.
But the problem is the converse is going to be, he's branding himself as a swamp creature.
No.
No?
The
Okay.
the apex predator of the swamp.
Oh, okay.
The killer.
Okay. Are you still looking up the logo?
I am. You guys should talk about other
It's
things.
great, but it's really hard to
Neat.
find.
Great. I can't wait to see it.
No, I'm going to find it.
It's going to be a good time.
Grade the Supreme Court on the Annie Frey YouTube
Oh, okay.
live chat poll. A, B/C, D, or F. We really quick hit this earlier, but a little more elaborations. We found out today that the student debt cancellation that President Biden waved his scepter in the air and just blessed people with, his loyal subjects, the Supreme Court said, nah. And so that's not happening. He's going to speak here. We're probably going to carry that. We'll kind of look and see what the setup is. So if you're watching us and wanting to hear what the president has to say about it, because they're saying that, oh, it's like, this is not over. This fight's not over. There's more to come, and maybe he will say something about it. I bet he doesn't even know. And we also found out that the web designer who refused to do a wedding website for a same-sex couple, that case went to court, and she won. And it was, no, you can't compel me to do something or say something that's against my own personal belief system or whatever. So that graphic designer ended up winning that case as well. A lot of wins on the side of the Constitution. So, Ryan, where are you at on a grading system?
I'm on an A because I think not just this week, but this whole term, I can't think of a decision that they made that I disagreed with. Now, politically, there's a couple that I wish would have gone the other way. But when you have constitutional judges making constitutional decisions, sometimes they're going to make decisions that you were like, I wish that would have gone the other way. But I understand why they said what they said. And that has been across the board for the last few weeks, this month, this session has just been tremendous.
Yeah.
Brad?
I agree with Ryan I give him an A. I wouldn't say there hasn't been a single ruling that I have disagreed with. I would say that Alabama case with the redistricting maps, I don't quite understand the Constitution. Are
you ready to pack the court?
I am not. But I didn't understand their reasoning behind it, but I put that more to my smaller knowledge of the Constitution to their bigger knowledge of the Constitution. So it's just something that I'm not understanding about it.
Isn't it safe to say that the Constitution, in protecting the individual freedoms that we all have, that there are going to be things that are protected that we don't like, which is why they need to be protected?
Yes. I mean, that's the whole point of having constitutional judges who hopefully check their opinions at the door and come in based on the law. And in cases where there's sort of conflicting law, they go back to the Constitution and say, well, what does it say? Because it's the ultimate authority here, which is exactly what they've done. And I think this affirmative action case is another one where they have shown that that is what they do.
Hannah, when you are watching these Supreme Court rulings come out, I mean, obviously you're newer to the game of paying attention to these super deep things. I doubt that there are many people under 30 who are out there. Well, I'll take that back. With the student loan debt, they probably are paying more attention than they have before. But when you hear that the Supreme Court has said, no, you can't just do that. You can't just take taxpayer dollars, the money that comes out of your paycheck, Hannah, and give it to somebody who took loans out, signed on the dotted line and said, I'm going to borrow this money from the government and pay it back. And now President Biden says, no, I'm going to take care of that for you on Hannah's dime and Brad's dime and Ryan's dime and Annie's dime. What do you think about all that?
Well, for the student loan thing, I never was for that. I did not take out student loans, and I had to make that choice. I had to go to community college because I knew I didn't have enough money to go to a 4-year university. So why was I going to be penalized for other people's decision when you don't have to take out a student loan? It's a choice to take it out. Therefore, you need to repay it. So that's my thoughts on that. But other Supreme Court rulings, I feel kind of overwhelmed with it because they're really big decisions that I don't know a ton of information about all the time. But I do like the sense of checks and balances with the Supreme Court. So that makes me feel better that it's not just one person or one
overarching power structure. There's so many checks and balances. We spoke with Andrew Bailey, who is obviously the Attorney General for the state of Missouri, at 12:25 today. If you're streaming on the Odyssey app, or if you want to hear that, you can rewind and go back 24 hours up from the point that you access the Odyssey app and 97.1 FM Talk, and just rewind like a DVR and listen to Andrew Bailey on the show talk about being one of the 6 states that did file it and took this to the Supreme Court to make sure that the taxpayers' dollars were actually protected, and he won. Andrew Bailey's done a really good job for the state of Missouri. From where I sit, not in, of course, the state of Missouri as a resident there. You want to do some reaction on the poll here before we get to the results?
So the question is asking you to grade the Supreme Court. Would you give them an A, a B, or C, a D, or an F? Mark Anderson from YouTube said that the Supreme Court gets an A+. They rule according to the United States Constitution as designed. Pistol Pete says A. Thank you, President Trump. Lori gives them a B or a C. She says they're doing much better, but I still think they could do more. I just don't understand what the last ruling was when it should be up to anyone to say who's allowed to go to college and who isn't. So she doesn't agree with that ruling. But other than that, she gives them a B or a C. Pond Rodent said solid B. There's always those that bring the grade average down. Patrick Fleer says not understanding allowing the courts to change legislature on voting laws, but generally they are following Constitution, unlike liberals, so he gives them an A. STL said I would have given a grade B, but that was not available. It was. You could grade them a B or a C.
It's a B/C. I only have 4 choices according to YouTube.
SD says that he gives the court an A, but they're actually just doing and ruling as they should do their task constitutionally. Vicky says that she gave them a B or C. It is rising with the last few decisions. GWIB says, I'm giving the Supreme Court an A for the last 3 decisions. So a lot of people seem to be happy with the most recent rulings from the Supreme Court.
If you want to vote on the YouTube live chat poll and you want to get your thoughts on recorded there, go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We end it right before the show ends here in about a little over 5 minutes. And let us know what you think there. I do want to also add to just remind folks what I talked about a little bit earlier in our Ask Me Anything segment, where somebody said, what would we do to change the Cardinals or whatever? And it brought the Cardinals up. And you know, Brad, you sent me the link, I think it was when we were in Texas, that Adam Wainwright had canceled or deactivated his Twitter account. Yeah. When I read that tweet from you, it broke my heart in a way that I didn't want to know any more about it. I wanted to put it away because I didn't want to see what was done and said to him. I know what it's like to be a public figure on a much smaller sense than Adam Wainwright, but I know what it's like to have vitriol thrown at you, and I know what it's like to have to compartmentalize those types of attacks and understand that there are hateful people in the world, and that, you know, look at it this way. Some people are just hateful, and they get on Twitter to be hateful and to be awful. That's their existence. I have learned to take those people out of my life, and I block them now. I block more people now than I used to on Twitter, but I just, if your job is just there to try to ruin my day, you just don't get to. And I don't care if I don't miss that. So just bye. I have that ability to do that on my Twitter account, so on and so forth. Adam Wainwright has a much, much, much larger following. So when people see somebody like Adam Wainwright struggling, and you add it into the full body of work that the Cardinals are enduring right now, I mean, it is not good. It is not a good product on the field. It is hard to watch. It doesn't feel entertaining. That's just the truth of the matter. But I cannot separate the people who are out there from the product, the sum total of the product that is being displayed. I do think that they should be better. I wish they would have more success, and there are lots of Xs and Ohs that you could talk about in order to get there. But one of the things about Adam Wainwright that strikes me in the heart about him deactivating his Twitter account is that I'm fairly confident that Adam Wainwright's biggest critic right now is Adam Wainwright. And the baseball part of it is going to be a huge deal to him. This is obviously a scenario where he's wrapping up his career. That is a difficult thing to do. It's a difficult thing to understand. It's time, and I'm making this decision, and I just want this one last shot to give it my best. And if anybody thinks for a second that he hasn't been giving it his best, I mean, that's not who that guy is. So when he is being attacked in the way that social media permits and encourages people to attack people, and he deactivates Twitter, I wonder if he needs to turn that off, because I've experienced this myself where sometimes I need to put it away because what I'm getting from people matches what I'm feeling inside my own heart and hearing inside my own head. And when I realize that those things are crossing one another, I need to take care of me, and I need to control what I can so that I can get right in my head and my heart. And if you're somebody who's been around Cardinals baseball for long enough and you've seen the joy that Adam Wainwright has brought this city for so long, it is undeniable. Anybody who says otherwise, I mean, you don't have to be on Twitter to be a troll. There are people who are trolls in life, and they're very unhappy people. And they have a way of bringing a room down, and that's the only way that they get joy. Those people exist. They're easy to manage when you have some successes to lean on, some failures to work on, and to move forward. But Adam Wainwright, when he signs autographs, I'm pretty sure he still does this, but when he signs autographs, he signs it with Acts 20:24. And I want to tell you what Acts 20:24 says in the Bible. It says, "However, I consider my life worth nothing to me. My only aim is to finish the race and complete the task the Lord Jesus has given me, the task of testifying to the good news of God's grace." And the reason why the Wainwright situation touches me so much is because I feel like that's always been his race that he's trying to finish. It's bigger than baseball could ever possibly be. And he's said so much that baseball has given him the opportunity to make a big league impact on people's lives around the globe, here in St. Louis. If you meet him, it's to know him and to like him. And I want to support people like that. It does mean something as a public figure myself when individuals reach out and go, "Are you okay? Like, I just want you to know that I appreciate you." And if St. Louis wants to show up and appreciate Adam Wainwright today and yesterday and the day before and in the years to come, his foundation, Big League Impact, is helping people around the world. Adam Wainwright doesn't need your dollar, but Big League Impact does. So I donated $50 last night. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. If you've wanted to show Adam Wainwright support, you can go on my Twitter at Annie Frey Show. You can see the tweet that I put out that connects you to where you need to go to make your $5 donation or whatever you're blessed to give. But if you want to show Adam Wainwright that you love him, I am challenging St. Louis to go show it in a really big way that will mean a lot to Adam Wainwright, but so much more to people who are in need. This is the solution I've been looking for, and I hope that you'll join me in doing that. Retweet my tweet or tweet your own to get people talking about it and to get people supporting something, because Adam Wainwright has supported this city for a long time, and we love him for it. Results?
All right, final results of the YouTube poll, which is asking you to grade the Supreme Court. 53% of the people said they would give the Supreme Court an A. 35% of the people would give them a B or a C. 9% say they are failing, and 3% say they deserve a D. There was 214 votes on that. 53% of the people giving them an A.
Man, try finding someone else in Washington, D.C. getting that kind of approval.
No joke.
Thank you for being with us here. Check the podcast and stick around. Mark Reardon next.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends at ThrottleNet. So I'm so very proud to have represented the guys at